The Harbor Hawks return to McKeon Park to face the Falmouth Commodores for game number 36 of the Cape Cod League season. Hyannis still holds a slim 1-point edge over Wareham for first in the West, but Falmouth has had Hyannis' number each of these past 2 seasons. After a 6-game sweep in 2017, the Commodores have a 4-1 series lead this season and have cost Hyannis each of its last 2 games. The Gatemen are reeling in Wareham simultaneously on a 2-game losing streak, but Hyannis still needs to crack the code against Falmouth tonight to ensure its Western Division dominance continues. Good evening, everybody. I'm Chris Lucy. I'm a pregame host here on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network. The Hawks come in at 20-13-2 against the Commodores at 19-15-1. It's Christmas in July here at McKeon Park, and we have plenty of presents under the tree for you on the pregame show today. We'll take a look at last night's matchup in Falmouth. Danny Terzer will interview Wes Engel, and Lyle Goldstein and I will take a look at the Commodores lineup tonight. And like I mentioned, if tonight is Christmas in July here in Hyannis, it goes without saying that not a creature was stirring here in McKeon Park yesterday. Not even a mouse. And definitely no Hawks. The ball club was on the road for its second game in 3 days in Falmouth. Hyannis countered a hot Commodore start early, but just couldn't stand up to continued offensive firepower from the Doors. Here are the highlights, courtesy of the Hyannis Harbor Hawks on SoundCloud.
Good early evening, everyone, from Guy Fuller Field here in Falmouth. I'm Joe along with Chris Lucy. We have game 35 in the 2018 season. We have the Hyannis Harbor Hawks on the road heading off against the Falmouth Commodores. 3-2. The next pitch is sent out to left field, and that will get down. 1 run does score. Another one right behind him. A third one potentially could come in. He's going to run home, and he'll be safe in a bases clearing triple by Hayden Cantrell. And 2-1 pitch. Sends it out to left field. The wind's going to bring it down, though. But that is gone. The wind actually took it in a solo shot by Davis Wenzel. It looked like that was going to be an easy out, but the wind kept taking it. And in Wenzel's favor, he has a solo home run. 2 pitches sent out to left field. And that will get off the wall. Todd Lott misses that ball. That runner will come home, though. Throws at home is Wenzel, and he is out. In a great throw by Davis Wenzel.
There's now the 1-2 from Kemp. Cut on and sent high in the air the other way down toward left field. That's tracking Todd Lott back to the wall, looking up by baseball. Kyle Stowers, his second extra base hit of the day, leaves the yard and now puts the Commodores out front by 5 runs, 7-2, with 2 down here in the bottom of the 7th. I'll count to the set. Davidson at the left side of the plate and the pitch. Hacked on and missed for strike 3. Joe Davidson, who not only hit homers from either side of the plate in a game against Pittsburgh this year, but also did it against Notre Dame. That one coming in the same inning, those 2 homers in the same inning against Notre Dame, is unable to replicate the result right there. Lefty-righty matchup, the pitch. Cut on and a high pop-up again towards left field. This one is chasing Brennan in. He'll have no trouble gloving that one for out number 3. And the Harbor Hawks fall in this game 7-2 here from Gov Fuller Field as the Commodores take a commanding 4-1 series lead here in Falmouth. 6-2 the final score once again. Hyannis comes up short against Falmouth for the 4th time just this season. Commodores took a 4-1 series lead with that win out at Gov Fuller Field. You can catch more highlights and plays of the game on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks SoundCloud page. Be sure to find us there and give us a follow, too, while you're at it. Game 6, the series finale between Hyannis and Falmouth, gets started at 6 o'clock here on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network. I'm your pregame host, Chris Lucy. Merry Christmas in July. 2 crucial Hyannis errors had the Hawks a bit flustered last night, but Wes Engel came out of Santa's workshop in the bullpen with just the gift the team needed, 2 innings of shutout baseball. The lefty out of Texas State caught up with Danny Terzer after the game. Let's listen into their conversation, courtesy of the Hyannis Harbor Hawks on Twitter at Harbor Hawks.
I'm here with Wes Engel, who pitched 3 innings tonight, giving up no hits. Wes, as a left-handed pitcher, how do you approach a righty batter differently than a lefty?
Oh, well, I got to sink the ball to righties because if I come in on them, they might get the barrel head on it. But if it keeps sinking away from them, then it'll be more of a ground ball, not necessarily a strikeout pitch, but just a ground ball, try to get outs.
You've been pitching seriously in college for 3 years now. What kind of work ethic and routine got you to this high tier level of baseball so quickly?
Well, I wasn't, the whole natural 90-mile-an-hour throwing lefty, so I had to do a lot of work, and you have to continue to do that work day in and day out, and a lot of preparation just to get ready to go out there.
How do you intend to use your ability to both hit and pitch to help you in your career?
Well, I just started hitting again a little bit, so we'll see what happens there. But for my first 2 years, I did hit, and it has taught me that hitting's a lot harder when people locate and when they can go in and out. So,
Thanks, Wes.
no problem.
Wes Engel on the Hyannis Hawks Digital Network, along with Danny Terzer. Thanks so much to Wes for taking time out of his post-game routine to speak with Danny. Had a great game last night. Again, 2 shutout innings of work, only 1 walk, no hits allowed against the Commodores, and a 6-2 Harbor Hawks loss down at Guff Fuller Field. Lefty out of Texas State has interviews on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network, and so does everyone out here on the ball club. You can be sure to check out all of them at Harbor Hawks. The Hyannis Harbor Hawks Twitter account is where Danny Terzer puts up all of her online content. Thanks again to Danny and Wes for taking time last night. I'm Chris Lucy, anchoring pregame coverage here before a 6 o'clock first pitch on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network. Again, a very Merry Christmas in July. The Hawks are throwing their annual Christmas promotion today, and there's definitely a pretty festive vibe to McKeon Park. If you make your way down to the ballpark tonight, you'll see Christmas decorations hanging all over the facade of the Jack Almer Fieldhouse and some snowmen out back too. Now, no real snow to be had here on an 80-degree summer day here in Hyannis. Those snowmen out back are blown up. But still, there was a flurry of action on the ball club's waiver wire today. Let's be sure to take a look. Shortstop Will Holland and 2018 Cape League All-Star pitcher Adam Elliott are both headed home for the summer. They were released today by the team. Hyannis will certainly miss both of them. Will Holland was a stud up the middle for the Auburn Tigers this year and continued the trend with the Harbor Hawks. 44 at-bats in 13 games played, knocked 15 hits, had a .341 batting average. Also walked 4 times and knocked in 4 runs, 2 doubles, had extra base hit power, and what a glove up the middle. Now, the Harbor Hawks have a logjam in their infield, but when you lose a talent like that, definitely hurts a little bit. And Hyannis, like every other team in the Cape, needs as much pitching as they can get at this point in the season, and Adam Elliott's exit will definitely hurt as well. A 2018 Cape League All-Star out of the University of Louisville, 1-0 record, a .6 ERA to lead the Harbor Hawks in 15 innings pitched. He struck out 11 and only allowed 1 earned run his entire summer out here on Cape Cod. Adam Elliott will certainly be missed. But in the aftermath of these 2 goodbyes, the Harbor Hawks retooled the bullpen a little bit. Casey Queener from Belmont has come out to the Cape to join the Harbor Hawks. Let's get everybody introduced to Mr. Queener. Plays his college ball again for the Belmont Bruins out in Tennessee, from Brentwood, Tennessee. So staying local, but coming out to the Cape for a summer away from home. Went to high school at Franklin Road Academy, comes in at 6'1", 200 pounds, heading into his senior year. And his junior year was a doozy for the Bruins out there at Belmont. 14 games started, 85 1/3 innings pitched, a 4.22 ERA. But get this, 96 strikeouts over that time compared to only 33 walks. So Queener, certainly a big arm talent that the Harbor Hawks will definitely need in the aftermath of losing Adam Elliott out here on the Cape, as the season is making its way towards the close. Only 44 games in the Cape League regular season before we get to the postseason, and we're already at game number 36. This Cape League summer will absolutely pass you by if you're not careful. And the Harbor Hawks have been able to make the most of it. They're in first place right now as we take a look around the Western Division standings. First place by 1 point over the Wareham Gatemen. The 42 points to 41 points lead for Hyannis, staying the course before and after the All-Star break, as Hyannis and Wareham are both going toe-to-toe with matching 2-game losing streaks. Falmouth is coming up in third place. They're on a 2-game win streak. Both of those wins against the Harbor Hawks. Falmouth at 39 points in third place. Cotuit's in fourth with 35 points, a 16-3 record. And Bourne miring in fifth place, 15-19-1, 31 points. Over in the Eastern Division, YD is just running circles around the rest of the Cape with 48 wins on the campaign so far. Chatham, a distant 10 points behind them in second place. Harwich with 34 out in the East. Orleans with 25, but Brewster coming in hot with 23 points. And Orleans also going to miss a big hitter, Nick Osborne, a man you heard hit a home run here on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network only a couple days ago, has signed a professional contract with the Oakland Athletics. So he'll be leaving Orleans effective immediately to start his professional career. Of course, congrats to him. People all over the Cape will miss watching him hit absolute bombs down at Eldridge Park, but life goes on, and so does the pregame show here on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network. We're less than 15 minutes away from first pitch, and coming up, Lyle Goldstein will join me on the broadcast to preview the Falmouth Commodores. Don't go anywhere. You're listening to the Hyannis Harbor Hawks on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network.
Magic Works Media copyright. Magic Works Media copyright.
Merry Christmas in July here on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network. I'm Chris Lucy. Less than 10 minutes away, less than 15 minutes away, excuse me, here on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network from a first pitch on Christmas in July from McKeon Park between the Hyannis Harbor Hawks at first in the West and the visiting Falmouth Commodores at third in the West. Now Lyle Goldstein, first half play-by-play man, joins me on the air. Lyle, how are you doing?
I'm doing all right. What about you?
I'm doing great, Lyle. And I mean, Christmas is in the air right now, out here in the middle of July at all times. It's just been a crazy day. We just saw Santa throw out the first pitch from the mound out here on Judy Scarafile Field. And I mean, I'm in the Christmas spirit already. It doesn't take much to get me in it. So just a quick question for you to start us off. What do you think is the best Christmas gift you've ever gotten?
I'd go back to my first baseball glove, probably when I was a kid. I mean, just playing baseball for so long and all the way through high school. And that glove lasted me a long time. So that's a memorable one.
Absolutely. Definitely a very useful, valuable gift, one you'd never forget, especially if you're all the way out here in Cape Cod all those years later, still following and involved every day with the game you love. And Lyle, getting back to this game between the Harbor Hawks and the Commodores, we're talking about the starting pitcher right now in Scott Politz. He plays his college baseball for Yale. Hyannis hasn't seen him yet in this little home-and-home series that is going on right now between the Harbor Hawks and Commodores. What can Harbor Hawks fans expect from him?
I think just a guy that's going to command the zone. I mean, he's coming off his worst start of the summer back on July the 5th against the Kettleers. So first off, he's going to be fresh because he hasn't thrown in some time. But along with that, he's not a big strikeout guy, but he's pretty effective for the most part. 2 starts ago, 7 shutout against Orleans. So I think he's a guy that will keep the ball down in the zone and use his defense to his advantage.
He's been pitching to contact this season, but roughed up a little bit of 4.05 ERA, 20 innings pitched, and 20 hits in those 20 innings. So, like you said, Lyle, guy that tries to pitch to contact, not a huge strikeout guy. And Hyannis has had a rough go with the Commodores over the last 2 seasons, and this season a rough run as well. Falmouth with a 4-1 series edge over Hyannis as things stand right now. And both these teams are going towards the playoffs right now. It looks like things are trending up for both. They both might make the playoffs and face each other later in the postseason. That being said, why is it so important for Hyannis to try and steal one last win from the Commodores tonight, outside of the obvious point that if Hyannis loses, there's no guarantee that they'll be in first place in the West tomorrow?
Well, Wareham did lose today, so that's a benefit for Hyannis. But on the flip side of that, just this is a Commodores team that's really, really had the number of these Harbor Hawks over the last 2 seasons. So if you're Hyannis, I think the key for them is just to come out swinging and put some runs on the board early against a Falmouth team that on paper is arguably the best one on the Cape. And also, if these guys square up against the playoffs, Harbor Hawks will have some momentum riding.
Now Wareham in a 3-game losing streak. Just checking out that score right there. 5-0 YD out front of the Gatemen to wrap that one up from Red Wilson Field. Lyle Goldstein on the pregame show with me. Thank you so much for joining me, Lyle. I'll let you jump off the headset and continue getting ready for your call here on the Hyannis Arbor Hawks Digital Network. First pitch mere moments away here from McKeon Park. So before I leave you on the pregame coverage, I'll give you a festive trip around the Harbor Hawks batting order. I'll the same way one Mr. St. Nick refers to his reindeer as he leaves in the final scene of The Night Before Christmas, a poem very dear to me, one you've already kind of heard referenced a couple times here on the pregame show. So let's see if I can get this one without totally butchering a poem that I love very much. All right. On Davis at shortstop, on Tommy in center, on Matt in left field, on Pedro at catcher, on Seth at third base, at Todd at DH, on Trevor in right field, on Braden at second base, on Brady at first to round out the 9. The lineup for you all this Christmas in July. Thank you so much for joining me on the pregame show. We're less than 10 minutes away from a 6 o'clock first pitch here on the Hyannis Arbor Hawks Digital Network. Coming up, the Harbor Hawks and the Commodores ready to close out the season series. You'll be able to catch me again in the top of the 4th inning with post-game coverage here on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks play-by-play broadcast, and then on our post-game YouTube wrap-up Hawk Talk. I'll pass it off to Lyle Goldstein and Robert Marcello for the play-by-play call. They'll be right back on after the national anthem on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network, so don't go anywhere.
Magic Works Media copyright. Magic Works Media copyright. Magic Works Media copyright. Magic Works Media copyright. Works Media copyright. Magic 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 Works Media copyright.
Time for lineups and first pitch on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network.
After dropping their last two contests, both at Gov Fuller Field, the Harbor Hawks return home to play these very Falmouth Commodores for one final time in the 2018 regular season. With the Western Division remaining slim, Hyannis has lost 10 of their last 11 against the Commodores, including 4 of the first 5 this summer. However, they look to put that in the rearview mirror with hopes of grabbing win number 21 on the year and win number 13 at McKeon Park. Harbor Hawks baseball starts right now. Hi, everybody. I'm Lyle Goldstein alongside Robert Marcello on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network. Rob, Falmouth has been the kryptonite of Hyannis for the better part of 2 seasons, and the last 2 games have been no exception. What are you looking for out of them in terms of a bounce-back performance today?
I think it's going to start with good pitching and just to be able to take a lead early. It seems like every single time we play Falmouth, we're down early or we score 2 runs early, and they just come right back with a lead of their own. So if the Harbor Hawks can get a lead early and keep it, they got a good shot.
Hyannis will counter with right-hander Houston Roth out of Ole Miss, wrapped up his sophomore year. On the year, Houston is 0-0 with a 4.32 ERA, has thrown 25 innings, walked 8, and punched out 22. This will be his 7th start of the year. Set to face a loaded Commodores lineup with 6 lefties in it. Leading things off, Matt Wallner, the right fielder out of Southern Mississippi. Austin Langworthy follows him, an all-star out of Florida playing center field. Kyle Stowers, boy, has he been hot. On a 7-game hit streak, he's in the number 3 spot playing first base. Davis Sims in the cleanup spot. The new Western Kentucky Hilltopper doing the designated hitting. Logan Davidson hitting 5th and playing short. Cameron Cannon, the Arizona Wildcat, hitting 6th and playing third base. And the final third of the order, Will Brennan, the Kansas State left fielder, followed by Herbert Iser, the Dallas Baptist catcher, and rounding out the 9, Hayden Cantrell, the Louisiana Lafayette second baseman. Beautiful day here at McKeon Park as Matt Wallner set to lead things off for the Commodores. The left-handed hitter adjusting his batting gloves as he drops his bat outside the left-handed side of the box. 78 degrees here in Hyannis at first pitch as Houston Roth sets right above the letters, gets his sign from Pages, rocks and fires the first pitch, and it's in there for a called strike. We're underway. First pitch time, 6:03 p.m. here at McKeon Park. Both of these teams in game number 36 of their summer. Hyannis looking for win number 21 as the 0-1 from Roth is right on the outside corner for strike 2. Wallner's 0 for his last 12. Went 0 for 4 in yesterday's contest. Houston Roth from the windup. 0-2 on the way, runs outside. Count moves to 1-2. Roth went 4 2 innings in his last start. That came back in a 12-5 win against the Chatham Anglers here on July the 18th at McKeon. 3 earned runs, 8 strikeouts. Now the 1-2 on the way. Misses down low to even the count. Roth strikeout to walk ratio, sure in his favor this season, has kept the ball around the strike zone in his 25 innings up to this point. Now ready. 2-2 offering, cut on and sent foul right behind home plate. Matt Wallner stays alive. Southern Mississippi product. Spent some time with Team USA this summer. Now out here in Falmouth, looking to give the Commodores a little bit of a spark plug. They sit with 39 points in third place in the Western Division. 2-2, misses upstairs for ball 3. Count sits at full to the leadoff hitter for the Commodores. In the lefty, in Wallner. Infield mostly straight up. The shortstop, Davis Wenzel, shifted up the middle. Roth from the windup. 3-2 pitch, swing and a miss for strike 3. And there's out number 1 for Houston Roth to start things off in the top of the first.
A good start by Houston Roth. Wallner working the count, though, bringing his pitch count up anytime the leadoff guy is on to start a game. But good command by Roth.
Roth continuing to pick up right where he left off with his 8 strikeouts in his last start against Chatham. That was a season high for him on the Cape, and strikes out the leadoff hitter in Wallner. Now the second southpaw that Roth will see, and Austin Langworthy watches a breaking ball upstairs. Harbor Hawks defense tonight. Seth Gray over at third, Wenzel at short, Braden Como back at second, and Brady Lindsley out at first base. The 1-0 from Roth. Misses just inside and a little bit low for ball 2. From left to right, respectively, Matthew Barefoot out of Campbell, Tommy Jew from UC Santa Barbara, and Trevor Hauver from Arizona State out and right. Now Roth ready with the 2-0, swinging a line drive back up the middle and into right center field for a base hit. Austin Langworthy reaches first, breaks in 0 for 13, and the Falmouth Commodores have their first runner of the ball game.
They sure do, Lyle, in a spot where Como, if there was a double play kind of situation, would have been right there to be able to get that ball. He was out in regular position out in second base. Not even a chance to get it.
That'll bring up left-handed hitter Kyle Stowers. First 3 hitters on the Commodores lineup, all from the left side. As Roth works from the left side of the mound. First pitch breaking ball for a called strike right at the knees. Dave Bailey behind the plate tonight. The count sits 0-1 to Kyle Stowers, who's just about been the hottest hitter on the Cape over the last couple of weeks. Roth from the set. Fires in a fastball, swing and a miss for strike 2. But Stowers sitting on a 7-game hitting streak. 7 of the last 9 games, he's produced multiple hits. Langworthy gets his lead at first, being held on by Brady Lindsley. Roth throws over. Back to the bag with a dive is Langworthy. Lindsley didn't apply any tag. As Roth, back on the mound, looks in at Pedro Pages, the Florida Atlantic product, doing the catching tonight. Roth sets at the belt. shakes his shoulders once and fires back over to first again, but back safely is Austin Langworthy. Kyle Stowers coming into today hitting .361, 17 RBIs. Roth sets and fires the next pitch, swinging a line drive down the left field line, and that's going to drop just fair for a base hit. Rounding second and heading to third is Austin Langworthy. Kyle Stowers now trotting into second base as he stands up with no throw, ball cut off by Davis Wenzel, and back-to-back hits for the Commodores have runners on second and third with just one out.
That hit there looked like it was just going to go foul, but stays in fair play right down the line. Barefoot having a hard time being able to get it, though, as now there's runners both at scoring position.
Barefoot was shaded over toward the left center field gap to the left-handed hitter in Stowers, so had to make a long run over to his right to go pick up that ball. And Stowers trots into second base with what is now extra base hit number 16 on the summer for the Stanford man. That leads the Cape. He came into the day tied with a Harbor Hawk in Davis Wenzel with 15, but that just put him into sole possession of the lead. Now Davis Sims watches a fastball low and away. But Kyle Stowers, continuing his scorching hot summer, picks up hit number 40. He's on at second, nobody holding him on. Langworthy at third. Roth from the windup fires home, a swing and a foul back behind home plate and sails out of play.
Davis Sims so far this year is batting .265, 5 home runs and 20 RBIs.
And along with that, in his last 10 games, he's hitting .324. The Western Kentucky product has his right foot right in the back of the box, wiggling that bat above his right shoulder. Off speed from Roth, misses down in the dirt, blocked by Pedro Pages. Counts now 2 balls and 1 strike to the hitter in Sims. Davis went 1 for 4 in yesterday's game. Was also in the field at first base, but doing the designated hitting tonight. Roth gets his sign. A breaking ball misses low for ball 3. Houston Roth inducing some early jams here in the first inning after retiring Matt Wallner to lead things off on a swinging strikeout. He's led up back-to-back hits and now 2 runners in scoring position for the Commodores. Roth checks on Langworthy at third. Now from the windup, the pitch on the way and misses just low for ball 4. Davis Sims draws a 1-out walk to load the bases here in the first.
Roth off to a bad start so far here today. Hopefully he can induce a ground ball, be able to get out of this inning without letting up any runs.
Now that'll bring up Logan Davidson, the Clemson shortstop who hits from both sides of the plate. But with Roth being a right-hander, Davidson digging his way into the left-handed side of the box. Infield playing back at double play depth with 1 out. Roth the wind. And the first pitch to Davidson, a breaking ball, a swing and a miss for strike 1. Logan Davidson took a big hack at that one, but comes up empty, swinging right over the top of it. Davidson produced 2 hits in yesterday's ball game and was much needed for a kid who's hitting just .196 on the summer. Now Roth ready. The 0-1 misses down. Count evens to Davidson. But Logan Davidson hitting .196 like we just mentioned. But his draft stock doesn't suggest anything like that. Projected to be a top 5 pick in the upcoming 2019 MLB draft. Hit .292 in his sophomore year at Clemson. Roth's fastball misses down and in the right side of the batter's box, way away from the catcher in Pages, who had to reach out and keep that ball in front of him. 2-1 the count. Davidson steps out, takes half a practice swing. Now he's back in, wiggling that bat toward Houston Roth at the mound. Roth ready. 2-1 on the way, a breaking ball up high. Struggling with his command a little bit in the last couple of batters as he walks Sims, just 1 hitter ago, and now finds himself in a 3-1 count against the number 5 hitter in Davidson. Davidson with 8 RBIs this summer, looking to pick up a couple more. Roth from the windup, the 3-1 pitch on the outside corner for strike 2 with a fastball. Houston Roth finds himself in his second full count of the inning. Davidson, for the second time in as many pitches, adjusts his batting gloves outside the box, resets, and is now ready to go. Bases loaded, 1 out, 0-0 here in the first. The 3-2 from Houston Roth. Fastball just down low for ball 4 as Logan Davidson draws an RBI walk. Back-to-back base on balls given up by Houston Roth, and the Commodores quickly go up 1-0.
Anytime you walk a guy home, that's never good as a pitcher, especially where the spot was of the pitch. I feel like that could have been a strike. You can tell Roth obviously visibly upset about it.
Roth came into the day with just 8 walks on the summer, but has already allowed a pair here in the first. Harbor Hawks pitching coach Ray Korn makes his way out to the mound to have a couple of words with Houston, as well as the rest of the infield. But Logan Davidson now stands up at first. It was Langworthy that scored on the walk, moving Stowers to third and Sims to second. The meeting will conclude. Korn walking back to the dugout. The infielders retreating back to their respective positions. As Houston Roth's getting ready to face Cameron Cannon, the third baseman from the University of Arizona. Cannon comes into the day with a 9-game hitting streak. Pages squats back behind the plate. Cannon takes a couple of swings outside the box. Harbor Hawks today sporting their white jerseys with the orange lettering, orange sleeves, as well as the blue cap with the orange H. First pitch from Roth, a swing and a foul back off the netting behind home. White pants and blue belts for the Harbor Hawks as well. Meanwhile, the Commodores wearing their standard black jerseys, maroon lettering, and gray pants with a maroon stripe. Cameron wiggles that bat slightly above his right shoulder. Roth now ready with the 0-1 pitch, swinging a pop-up foul behind home and out of play. Houston Roth looking to minimize damage here. He's 1 pitch away from his second strikeout of the night, but is as little as 1 pitch away from an inning-ending double play. Cannon, on the other hand, looking to extend the lead early as Hyannis has struggled to play from behind all season. The next pitch from Houston Roth. Breaking ball low and away, chested up by Pages. Roth receives a new ball and walks back to the mound. He's just about halfway to his season total in terms of innings pitched, as he threw 52 2/3 out at Ole Miss this season. Sets right at the letters from the windup. 0-2 on the way. Breaking ball outside. Or make it 2-2. That was the 1-2 offering from Roth, as now the count evens. 1-0 Falmouth in the top of the first. This inning's already lasted 13 minutes up to this point. Infield still back. The 2-2 from Roth, swinging a ground ball foul down the third baseline. Houston Roth already up to 29 pitches on the day. Has been a long first inning for the Ole Miss Rebel. Stowers at third, Sims at second, Davidson at first, all with 2-step leads. Sims starting to extend his a little bit at second. Now the next pitch from Roth, cut on and sent foul behind home. Cameron Cannon starting to walk back over to his dugout. He'll grab some pine tar to get a better grip on his bat. But Roth comes into the day with a 4.32 ERA compared to the 4.44 earned run average he put up at Ole Miss. Roth struck out 68 hitters in his sophomore season and has one so far today, coming to the leadoff hitter in Wallner. Now Roth ready. Pitch on the way, swinging a fly ball out to short right field. Coming in is Trevor Hauver, and it drops in front of him for a base hit. Coming home is the runner in Stowers, and he just beats the throw from Hauver to make it 2-0 Falmouth in the top of the first inning.
Hauver having a hard time seeing that ball in right field as it just dropped down right before he was going to try to make the catch. Allows the runner to score.
Stowers having to wait at third for a split second, as he didn't take a great read on the ball, but also had to wait and see if Hauver was going to make the play. It dropped a couple of feet in front of him, and then he had to race home with Hauver making a short throw. But the Stanford Cardinal and Stowers beats it just in time to put the Commodores up 2 runs in the first, keeps the bases loaded, and brings up Will Brennan, who takes a fastball high. So Cannon comes through with an RBI single, extends his hitting streak to 10 games. Back-to-back RBIs for the Commodores here in the first. Now Roth ready. The pitch to the hitter, and Brennan is swung on and missed for strike 1. Will Brennan has hits in 7 of his last 9 games. Left-handed hitter from Kansas State. Digging in from the left side. Swings at a breaking ball and sends it on the ground foul over to the Falmouth first base coach, who takes it and tosses it into the dugout. Already the 7th hitter of the inning for the Commodores. Roth gets the sign from Pages. Fires home and off speed, and it's in the dirt. Two balls and 2 strikes the count to the hitter in Will Brennan. Brennan, one of 6 lefties for Jeff Trundy's squad tonight. Manning left field defensively. Now the 2-2 from Roth. A swing and a miss for strike 3 right into the glove of Pedro Pages. And that's out number 2 for the Commodores here in the top of the first. Second strikeout of the night for Houston Roth, as he's now set to face another left-handed hitter in Herbert Iser.
Nice pitch there by Roth, a rising fastball, getting Brennan to swing and miss at it.
Iser making his first start in 4 days. He'll be behind the plate tonight for Falmouth. As Roth from the windup, first pitch breaking balls down low, blocked by Pedro Pages. Houston making the Florida Atlantic catcher do his fair share of work early on here. Some action already going on in the Harbor Hawks bullpen as Minnesota right-hander Brett Schultz starts to play catch. But Roth looking to minimize damage. The next pitch is a called strike on the outside corner. Infield back with 2 outs. Second baseman Braden Como about a step in front of the outfield grass. Lindsley behind the runner at first. The pitch from Roth. Called strike right at the knee level. Bottom of the zone to move the count to 1-2. Iser has just 3 hits to his name this summer and a lone RBI. First time on the season seeing Houston Roth. Now the pitch swung on and missed for strike 3, and that'll do it in the top of the first. Houston Roth strikes out the side but gives up 2 runs on 3 hits and leaves a trio on base. We'll be back in the bottom of the first right after this. Davis Wenzel, Tommy Jew, and Matthew Barefoot will get things going for the Harbor Hawks on offense when we get back on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks digital network.
Magic Works Media. Magic Works Media copyright.
You're listening to the Hyannis Harbor Hawks on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network. Now back to today's Voices of the Hawks, Lyle Goldstein and Robert Marcello.
Commodores sent 8 men to the plate in the top of the first and go up by a score of 2-0. Hyannis already looking to chip away in the bottom of the first as Davis Wenzel leads off against Scott Politz, the right-hander out of Yale, and takes a fastball for a strike. Harbor Hawks order tonight. Wenzel will be followed by Tommy Jew, Matthew Barefoot, Pedro Pages, and then Seth Gray. As Politz gets his sign, works from the windup. The 0-1 is taken for a strike, and the count's quickly 0-2 to the leadoff hitter in Wenzel. The final 4 in the Harbor Hawks order: Todd Lott, Trevor Hauver, 2 of 3 lefties, Braden Como, and Brady Lindsley. Wenzel takes a fastball upstairs. The count now sits at 1-2. First 4 hitters in the lineup for the Harbor Hawks, all from the right side. The 1-2 from Politz is a breaking ball up and away to even the count. Politz comes into the day, making his 5th start of the summer, 1-2 with a 4.05 ERA. Now the pitch to Wenzel, a fastball down low, right above the shoe tops, to fill up the count. 3-2 to the leadoff hitter in Wenzel, who already has 17 walks to his name this summer. Now the payoff pitch from Politz, swinging a broken bat, ground ball out to the shortstop. Davidson fields it out in front, throws across, and in time to retire Davis Wenzel. But my goodness, how about that broken bat? That one's sailing down the third base line and bouncing off the screen where the third base crowd usually gathers.
Definitely want that net being there. Something you don't see in Falmouth, but definitely in Hyannis, a really good job by the organization to be able to put that there. Because if it wasn't there, it would have hit somebody. Wenzel's okay.
Yeah, and thank goodness it is there, to say the least. Like you said, that netting just above the third base dugout on the Hyannis side. But a 6-3 put out to Wenzel over to his counterpart in Davidson as the number 2 hitter in Tommy Jew takes a fastball up high. Politz is not a big strikeout guy, 16 punch-outs in 20 innings pitched. As he wheels and fires a breaking ball upstairs to Jew again as the count sits at 2-0. But Politz sure does command the strike zone. 2 walks to his name this summer in 20 innings. Now the 2-0 misses up high. 3 balls and no strikes to Tommy Jew. And unusual for Politz, but behind in a count. Now the 3-0. A fastball off the zone for ball 4, and Tommy Jew draws a 4-pitch walk with 1 out in the bottom of the first. 3rd free pass issued on the summer for the right-hander in Politz.
It's good to be able to get someone on base early in the game as the Harbor Hawks are down by 2 runs, trying to cut down to that lead.
That brings up the most dangerous hitter on the Cape in Campbell left fielder Matthew Barefoot. Wiggling that bat right at about the head level. Jew sits at first. Barefoot takes a breaking ball for a strike on the outer half. But with the Harbor Hawks already down 2-0, Tommy Jew being arguably the fastest base runner on this Hyannis ball club, would be no shock to see him take off. As he gets his lead over at first, fastball from Politz is inside, brushes Barefoot off the plate to run the count to 1-1. Bottom of the first here, 2-0. Tommy Jew giving the Jackie Robinson finger wave between his legs as Barefoot sends a line drive into the left center field gap, and it's down for a base hit. Jew rounding second on his way to third, slides in head first. The throw is cut off by Davidson, and just like that, the Harbor Hawks are in business. Matthew Barefoot now on a new hitting streak up to 4 games as he picks up a 1-out single to put runners on the corners for the number 4 hitter in Pedro Pages.
A rope right out to center field. Tommy Jew over at first, though, with his speed, being able all the way to get to third. Heads up base running by Tommy Jew.
And he is fast, to say the least. A good read on that ball. Immediately recognized it was way too in and far to the right for the center fielder in Langworthy. Motored around second, no problem, and a courtesy slide into third. Pages takes a fastball inside for ball 1. But Matthew Barefoot, no stranger to stolen bases either, as he swiped 33 of them in his sophomore year at Campbell. Holding him on is the first baseman in Stowers as Pages swings and misses through the next pitch for strike 1. Well, quickly, the Commodores defense, Cameron Cannon at third, Logan Davidson at short, Hayden Cantrell at second, Kyle Stowers, the Stanford Cardinal, at first. As Politz throws over, back to the bag safely is Barefoot. From left to right in the outfield, Will Brennan, Austin Langworthy, Matt Wallner, and Herbert Eisert doing the catching for the Commodores. Politz with runners on the corners working from the set. The pitch to Pages, and off speed for a called strike. Count now 1-2 to the FAU catcher. Pages hitting .255. Had 2 hits in yesterday's loss. The set, and the next pitch from Wallner, a fastball inside to move the count even. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Falmouth put up 2 runs on 3 hits in the first. Hyannis already with a hit and a walk, runners on the corners. Pages swings and sends a ground ball down the third baseline and just foul before it skipped over the bag. And Pages will walk back to the right-handed side of the batter's box, looking to straighten things out. It didn't miss by much, Rob, that's for sure.
It definitely did not. A roper right down the line.
The left fielder in Will Brennan playing way off the line, shaded into the left center field gap. Cantrell with a couple steps to his right up the middle as Pedros flips one into right field. Coming in is Wallner, and it drops in front of him for a base hit. Coming home is Tommy Jew. He scores easily, and the Harbor Hawks have cut the lead in half with 1 swing of the bat. 2-1 Commodores on an RBI single from Pedro Pages.
Just a good piece by Pedro Pages there. Just a little lazy fly ball to right field. Being able to get down, being able to score the run.
Pages staying with that one, shot it the other way. Matt Wallner having to fight off the sun and couldn't get to it in time. Drops in front of him. Barefoot moved up to second on the play. Runners on first and second for Seth Gray. He takes a first pitch off speed, and it's outside. Well, Barefoot, with his speed at second, another base hit into the gap, should score him from over at second base. Davidson giving him a little bit of attention behind the bag. Gray swings and sends a pop-up into short left field. Moving over is Davidson. Coming in is the left fielder in Brennan. Settles under it and makes the catch in the shade for out number 2. So Seth Gray retired by an F7. And it brings up Todd Lott, who draws in the dirt with the knob of his bat. Adjusts his batting gloves and now stepping in. It'll be his first time this summer seeing Scott Politz. Lott sets that bat right above his right shoulder. Swings at the first pitch and sends a towering fly ball to deep left center. Back is Brennan to the track. He's to the wall, leaps, and it's out of here. 3-run blast for Todd Lott in the bottom of the first, and the Harbor Hawks go on top 4-2.
A good piece for sure by Todd Lott, hitting that out to left field. Right off the bat, you knew it was gone, and just a really good piece by Todd Lott. Haven't seen him have a home run in a while. That was a laser.
Home run number 6 on the summer for the Louisiana Lafayette Ragin' Cajun. And it couldn't have come at a better time. Hyannis, who struggled all season long playing from behind, comes back right away in the bottom of the first. A 4 spot already up to this point for the Harbor Hawks. 4-2 now the score. Trevor Hauver, the Arizona State Sun Devil, takes a first pitch strike from Politz. And he was overdue in lot. Towered that thing out to left center as Hauver takes a breaking ball right above the letters. And that was one that had a little bit of question if it was going to leave the yard. Brennan gave a leaping effort, but just cleared as Hauver cuts right through an off-speed pitch for strike 2. But with the power that Lott has, muscled it out just enough beyond the left center field fence here at McKeon Park. Politz from the windup. The pitch to Hauver, off speed just outside to even the count at 2-2. Trevor's hitting .268 this summer. 8 RBIs. Breaking ball from Politz, a called strike 3 on the inside corner as Hauver punches out looking, and that'll do it for the Harbor Hawks in the bottom of the 4th. But they make some noise here at McKeon Park, highlighted by a 3-run bomb from Todd Lott to make it a 4-2 contest. 6 runs in the first inning from the combined 2 teams, and the second inning just moments from being underway. We'll bring you back in just a minute here on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network.
Magic Works Media copyright. Magic Works Media copyright. You're listening to the Cape Cod Baseball League on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network. Let's get you back to the game.
Top half of the second underway here at McKeon Park as the Commodores saw 8 men at the plate in the first, and the number 9 hitter in Hayden Cantrell digs in to lead off the second. Houston Roth's first pitch is swung on and fouled off out of play. Cantrell comes into today's ball game hitting .176. A left-handed hitter for the Commodores. Now the pitch from Roth, a swing and a line drive foul out of play down the left field line. To make it 7 lefties that are in the lineup for Falmouth tonight. Head coach Jeff Trundy putting a handful of his left-handed bats into the game against Roth. Meanwhile, in last night's game, the Harbor Hawks had 9 right-handed batters going up against Adam Lasky. The next pitch from Roth is a swing and a foul, up and out of play. 2 left-handed hitters in the lineup for Hyannis tonight, or make it 3, being Lindsley Gray and Trevor Hauver. Houston's ready. Next pitch on the way, swinging a high pop up into short left field. Matthew Barefoot ranging a couple of steps in, settles under it and squeezes it for the first out. Good start for Houston Roth to start the top of the second, induces some soft contact. Cantrell fouled a few pitches off, but then just got under one and soared one out to short left field.
He sure did there, trying to improve off of his first inning where he struggled, trying to get it back here in the second.
That'll bring up Matt Wallner for his second plate appearance in as many innings. Southern Missouri left-handed hitter takes a fastball outside. Matt Wallner, in his season at Southern Missouri, put together some type of year as he swings right through the next pitch from Roth. .351 average, 16 home runs, and 67 runs batted in. Was tabbed the Conference USA preseason player of the year as he watches a fastball run just off the plate on the outer half. He was selected a preseason All-American by D1 Baseball and a collegiate baseball second team, and lived up to the hype, was invited to Team USA this summer. Takes a strike on the outside corner, and that'll move the count to 2-2. Roth working from the windup. A slight wind here at McKeon Park, blowing from right to left. Next pitch from Houston is an off-speed down low. But Wallner out here on the Cape hitting just .231. 6'5", 220-pound left-handed hitter watches the next pitch and swings right through it, popping it behind home plate. Houston Roth will get a new ball up on the mound, quickly steps off. Infield playing back, nobody on, and one out. Harbor Hawks leading 4-2. The pitch from Roth, called strike three right at the knees, and that'll retire Matt Wallner for the second time in as many at-bats via the strikeout. One swinging and one looking, as Houston Roth has 4 strikeouts here through an inning and 2/3.
4 strikeouts, as you said, Lyle, and a great command of his pitches by Roth there. Wallner started walking towards first. He was in for a rude awakening.
Now it'll bring up Austin Langworthy, another very, very highly recruited kid and a touted player out of Gainesville, playing his baseball at the University of Florida. Watches an off-speed pitch just outside. Well, Langworthy, a two-way guy, made 7 appearances and 1 start for the Gators in his 2017 campaign. But here from the left-handed side tonight as he swings and misses right through the next pitch from Houston Roth. Langworthy hasn't thrown it all this summer for the Commodores, primarily focusing on the outfield and hitting. Breaking ball, a weak wave and a miss for strike 2. Now Houston Roth keeping the Florida Gator in Langworthy off balance, gave him a couple of fastballs, and now drops that deuce in there. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Roth gets his sign. The 1-2 on the way. Fastball just down. That moves the count to 2 balls and 2 strikes. 2 outs in the top of the second. Harbor Hawks up 4-2. Houston Roth looking for a clean 1-2-3 frame. 2-2 on the way. Off speed, just down and away. Roth ducks his head a little bit. Wanted that call, but the home plate umpire and Dave Bailey didn't give him the benefit of the doubt. So now Roth in a full count. From the windup, the 3-2 on the way, swinging a high drive out to deep right field. Hauver giving chase, back at the wall, and nothing but a spectator as it hits off the scoreboard for a solo shot from Austin Langworthy, as the lead is now 4-3 Hyannis.
Left that pitch up was Roth, and Langworthy taking advantage of it, hitting the scoreboard out in right field.
It has been an absolute slugfest through the first inning and a half here at McKeon Park. 7 runs from the 2 combined teams, 2 home runs already and a 1-run lead for Hyannis. Kyle Stowers now digs in. Swings at a first pitch breaking ball and sends a ground ball out to Lindsley. Backhands it on a hop. Flips over to Roth covering the bag. And that's out number 3. Houston Roth faces 4 batters in the second inning, but an Austin Langworthy solo bomb puts the lead to within 1 for the Harbor Hawks. 4-3 through an inning and a half. And we'll be back right after this on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network.
Magic Works Media copyright. Magic Works Media copyright.
You're listening to the Hyannis Harbor Hawks on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network. Now back to today's voices of the Hawks, Lyle Goldstein and Robert Marcello.
Right second baseman Braden Como set to lead off the bottom of the second for Hyannis. It'll be inning number 2 for the right-hander Scott Politz from Yale. Chad Gassman having a quick word with Bailey, the home plate umpire. He didn't look too happy about something. Now he's making his way down to third as Bailey will walk behind home plate, put on the mask. Como steps into the box. And Gassman still chirping now at the third base umpire in Rick Emerson. Nevertheless, Politz from the windup kicks and fires the first pitch. Fastball up high. Como watches it go by for ball 1. Braden Como, 1 for 4 in yesterday's contest as he watches another heater, this time in the dirt. Braden Como was selected to play in the All-Star game, that taking place on Sunday night out at White House Field. Kind of a nasty day for a game, but nevertheless, Braden taking part, getting a little bit of playing time. Unfortunately, couldn't record a hit. The 2-0 from Politz. Fastball misses away. 3 balls and no strikes to Braden Como. Looking to turn his season around on offense a little bit as he watches a 3-0 pitch right over the middle for strike 1. Como hitting .296 on the summer, so not a bad average by any stretch. In fact, a very, very good one. But over his last 10 games, hitting just .167. Swings and sends a high chopper over to third. Fielded on a hop by Cannon. Throws across the diamond to Stowers in time to retire Como for out number 1.
Como's speed there, forcing Cannon to have to throw a cannon over at first base. There, as he tried to take his sweet old time. Having to set his feet, had to throw it quicker than he wanted to, but it was on line.
Como taking a wide, or should we say a fast dig out of the box, making his way down the line, but the third baseman in Cannon fielded that on a hop, had to take a couple of shuffles, but nevertheless made the play in plenty of time. Now Brady Lindsley into the box. Left-handed hitter takes a breaking ball outside. Brady Lindsley standing with 10 hits on the summer, just 6 RBIs. The next pitch, a swing and a miss, threw a breaking ball way out in front of that one. This counts now 1-1. Brady Lindsley stands at 6'1", 210 pounds. Catcher by trade, but manning first base tonight for the Harbor Hawks. 1-1 breaking ball from Politz. Upstairs, right above the letters for ball 2. Scott Politz coming off his best season out at Yale. and throws a fastball in the dirt, brushes Lindsley off the plate. 3-1 the count. Pollitt started 12 games, 5-4 record, a 3.07 ERA, 23 walks to 64 strikeouts. 3-1 to Lindsley. Fastball runs outside for ball 4, and the Oklahoma catcher draws a walk here with 1 out in the bottom of the second. Second walk of the day for the right-hander in Pollitt. And how about this? That doubles his total on the season. Not a guy that you usually see give up a lot of free passes, but with everything that's already gone on here tonight, the Todd Lott 3-run home run, a couple of hits in the first for the Harbor Hawks otherwise from Barefoot and Pages, just has the right-hander in a little bit of a funk right now.
Definitely so, and just really kind of throughout this inning, been paying attention over to Coach Gassman, still letting the third base umpire know about it. And he's definitely giving him a lot of leeway.
And it's interesting to speculate at what he's angry about. He went out to the home plate umpire and Dave Bailey and exchanged some words, and then went and barked at the third base umpire and Rick Emerson. Currently exchanging a couple of words with time called with his assistant coaches and Ron Polk and Ray Korn, the pitching coach. But as the meeting concludes and Herbert Iser makes his way back behind the plate, Gassman back out to his usual spot in the coaching box. Davis Wenzel set for his second at bat and takes a breaking ball for a strike. Davis grounded out to short in his first at bat. That broken back ground ball with the barrel of the bat sailing out off the net right in front of the third base stands. Another breaking pitch from Pollitt is in for a called strike. Quickly 0-2 to the hitter in Wenzel. Getting a lead is Lindsley. Now dives back to the bag on a pickoff attempt, but in safely. Wenzel's played some time all around the infield, second, short, and third this summer as he sends a line drive out to deep left field. Backtracking is Brennan. Jumps and makes the catch right in front of the warning track for out number 2. Lindsley retreats 90 feet back to first, and allowed out for Davis Wenzel, retires him for the second time in as many innings, and now 2 outs in the bottom of the second.
A good piece there by Davis Wenzel, hitting out in the shade out in the left field. Brennan just had to back up a couple of steps to be able to catch it.
The shade from the trees continuing to make its way over the outfield, as it always does here at a 6 o'clock start time at McKeon Park. Austin Langworthy still basking in the sun a little bit as Tommy Jew sends a first pitch line drive down the left field line. That's going to roll all the way to the wall. Rounding in his way to third is Brady Lindsley. Jogging into second is Tommy Jew. He's going to walk in with a 2-out double. First hit of the day for the UC Santa Barbara center fielder. Second time reaching base. And the Harbor Hawks are at it again. Runners on second and third with 2 out.
Tommy Drew's starting to get hot a little after being here for a couple of weeks. Started off a little rough. He's starting to come along.
Well, he has really swung the bat well as of late, like you mentioned, Rob. 444 in his last 5 games and 321 in his last 10, and that's coming into today. Only going to go up with that double as Matthew Barefoot steps in. Already recorded a single and scored today. Second time seeing Pollitt. First pitch runs off the plate and in the dirt, chested up by Iser. Well, Matthew Barefoot, you've heard it so many times over the last couple of weeks, hitting above 400 this summer, 402 as we speak, and has reached in every single game he's played in this season. A breaking ball from Pollitt is on the outside corner for strike 1. But he just continues to hit night after night after night. After the 22-game hit streak was snapped, he's now currently on a 4-game streak. Swings and misses right over the top of an off-speed pitch from Pollitt as the count moves to 1-2. But Barefoot hitting .417 with runners in scoring position and .389 with runners in scoring position and 2 outs. Looking to pick up a couple of more RBIs. Swings and misses through a breaking ball for strike 3, and that'll do it for the Harbor Hawks in the bottom of the second. Base strand 2 on as Scott Politz picks up his second strikeout of the night, and the score remains 4-3 Hyannis here through 2 innings. Top of the third coming up right after this when we get back on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network.
Magic Works Media copyright. Magic Works Media copyright.
You're listening to the Hyannis Harbor Hawks on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network. We're bringing you back to the booth, but first, it's down to the sidelines with Danny Terzer.
Houston Roth told me after his most recent start back on the 18th against Chatham how important it is how you start the first inning as a pitcher. He said it sets the tone for the whole rest of the outing. And tonight we've seen him struggle a little bit with the same things that showed so much promise just a few days back. Between the first and second inning, the pitching coach, Coach Korn, came over and talked to him, reassured him, saying that he's fine. Don't baby the off-speed pitches, he said. Make sure you're throwing them hard at the glove. One of the things that we saw him do so well against Chatham was have command with those off-speed pitches. So we know he has it. We're just hoping that he gets back.
Top half of the third underway at McKeon Park as Davis Sims takes a breaking ball on the inside corner for strike 1 from Houston Roth. Houston back out for inning number 3. Second time seeing the former Murray State product in Sims. Counters with a fastball on the outside corner. Counts quickly 0-2. But Houston Roth let up 2 runs in the first inning. Followed that up, letting up a single run in the second off an Austin Langworthy solo homer. 0-2 on the way, just outside on a heater for ball 1. Score sits at 4-3 Harbor Hawks. 7 runs in the first 2 innings. Now the 1-2, a breaking ball down and away. Davis Sims in his first at-bat walked and was stranded at third. That was part of a 2 spot that the Commodores put up in the first. Now Roth gets the sign from Pages. A fastball up and away, checks his swing, peels over to first, but doesn't go around according to first base umpire Jeff Kinney. Roth still in search of his first scoreless inning of the night. Looking to retire Sims for the first time. The pitch on the way, swinging a pop-up foul behind home plate and out of play. Sims sitting with a full count. 3-2. Infield playing back, Wenzel on the lip of the grass. Payoff on the way, runs outside for ball 4 on a fastball, and Davis Sims has recorded back-to-back walks to start his day. And the Commodores start the third with a runner on base and nobody out. Now Logan Davidson steps in. He's already had a productive day without even recording an official at bat. Came through with an RBI walk in the first. That was the first run of the day for the Commodores, or either ball club for that matter. Seth Gray playing in right on the infield grass. Fastball from Roth is taken right at the bottom of the zone for strike 1. Logan Davidson hitting 196 this summer compared to the 292 average he sported in 2018 at Clemson. Roth throws over to first, but back with a dive is Davis Sims. And he was red hot all season in 2018 in Davidson. 18 doubles, 15 long balls, 544 slugging percentage. Hitting from the left side and wheeling that bat right at his head as he watches an off-speed pitch miss outside. Davidson looking for his first hit of the day and still looking to get that average back above 200. Roth from the set, working from the left side of the mound. The pitch is in the dirt, off the chest protector of Pedro Pages, keeps it in front of him. No advancement from Sims. Davidson, widely projected to be a top 5 pick in the 2019 MLB draft, but has had back-to-back struggling summers out in Falmouth. Looking to turn things around in a hurry this summer. Roth with the 2-1. Fastball in there for a strike. Davidson watches it go by. 2 balls and 2 strikes to the Clemson shortstop. Harbor Hawks looking to hold on to a win here. Currently through the first 2, they're up 4-3. But a win tonight would give them a 3-point cushion over the Wareham Gatemen in the Western Division. Davidson swings at the next pitch and sends a ground ball through the right side for a base hit. Moving up station to station is Davis Sims over to second. Davidson's on at first, and the Commodores have 2 runners on. Back-to-back base runners reach to start the third. Davidson has done some productive hitting against the Harbor Hawks, especially over the last couple of days. 2 for 4 yesterday, 1 for 1 with an RBI and a base knock already in tonight's contest. Cameron Cannon, the new hitter. Feet shoulder width apart from the right side. Bat above the shoulder. Breaking ball from Roth is down and away. Cannon's 1 for 1, singled in his last at bat, and drove in Kyle Stowers. Roth checks the runner and Sims at second. No hold. Comes home as Cannon swings and sends a high pop up on the right side in the infield. Lindsley giving chase and can't quite get there. Fighting the sun a little bit, coming in, trying to turn on the Jets at the last second, but the ball drops in front of him right between the stone dust and the grass on the infield. Brady Lindsley picks up the ball, throws it back to Roth, and retreats back over to his spot at first, visibly frustrated with himself as the Oklahoma Sooner. But now the count's at 1-1 to Cannon. Middle infielders playing up the middle. Como giving some attention to Sims at second. Pitch from Roth as a breaking ball down in the dirt. No advancement from either of the runners. Cannon steps out of the box, adjusts his helmet, shakes his shoulders a couple times, and now loops his bat around the zone once, back into his stance. Roth in search of out number 1 here in the third. Cameron swings and sends a ground ball down the third baseline, just foul. Seth Gray took a step over to his right, but watched it move just to the left of the chalk on the left side. Houston Roth, 3 runs allowed through the first 2, and already into some trouble in the third. Sims is on at second. Davidson at first with no hold for either runner. Time is called. Roth steps off. He's now back on from the set. Glove right at the belt level. Staring down Sims at second. Now fires home. Swinging a line drive past Braden Como and into right field for a base hit. Hoffer bobbles it once, but Sims will stop at third. Davidson down to second. And 3 straight base runners have reached in the top of the third for the Falmouth Ball Club, as Cameron Cannon is now 2 for 2 on the day. Second single in tonight's contest. And that will bring up Will Brennan with the bases loaded. There has been no shortage of offense up to this point. 7 runs and 10 hits And we're only in the top of the third with no outs. Roth from the windup. The first pitch is flicked and fouled to the left side, now to play by Brennan. Brennan throws his hands at that one, just fighting off a fastball from Roth. Brennan's got a .500 average against the Ole Miss Rebel on the summer. But for his own numbers in total, hitting just .220. Left-handed hitter out of Kansas State. Moving that bat. Now sets it right at the head level. Weak swing and a ground ball right to Roth at the mound. Takes it off the chest. Throws home to Pedro Pages to get the force out. Davis Sims is retired. And Will Brennan records a 1-2 fielder's choice, preventing the ball game from being tied up. And there's one out with the bases loaded in the top of the third inning. So Houston Roth, a little bit of a late reaction. His body was turned away from home plate after finishing through on that pitch, but recovered in time to take the ball off the chest, keeps it in front of him, and makes an easy toss to Pages at the plate. Now Herbert Iser, the number 8 hitter, digs in. Swings at a first pitch breaking ball and sends it out to right field. Hauver takes a couple of steps in, makes the catch on the run, throws home to the plate, cut off by Lindsley, and now they have a pickle between second and third. Wenzel charging the runner. He makes the tag right between second and third base. And how about that chain of events right there? After a sacrifice fly from Isert, Cameron Cannon is retired on the bases, trying to advance to third base. Brady Lindsley cut off the ball, recognizing there was a play for the third out, and executed it perfectly. A rundown completes the third out of the inning. A 9-3 to 6-5 putout for the double play in the top of the third. 4-4 now the score here in McKeon Park at Hyannis, as a sacrifice fly from Isert ties up the game. We'll be back in the bottom of the third right after this when we return on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network.
Magic Works Media copyright.
In combination with the Hyannis Harbor Hawks and Ocean Street Studios comes a brand new show bringing you everything Harbor Hawk. This is Birds the Word, a comprehensive new way to engage with your favorite summer ball team. I'm your host, Harrison Myers, and every Thursday until the end of the 2018 Cape League season, we'll bring you everything Harbor Hawk. Interviews with players and coaches, behind-the-scenes tours, and stories you may not have heard about. Make sure you subscribe today so you don't miss any of the action.
Pedro Pages set to lead things off in the bottom of the third inning as Scott Politz is back on the mound, the right-hander for the Commodores. Now working with a brand new ball game, 4-4 through 2.5 frames. A righty-righty matchup as Politz quickly steps off the mound. Now back on, working from the very edge of the right side. Rocks and fires the first pitch to Pages, and it's down low on a fastball. The Commodores put up an additional run in the top of the third inning on a sacrifice fly and a double play, as a breaking ball to Pages is in there for a called strike. Hauver was throwing home, couldn't get Davidson, who scored, but Lindsley cut it off, and they caught Cameron Cannon in a pickle. A swing and a miss from Pages on another off-speed pitch as the count moves to 1-2. Pedro today, 1 for 1, an RBI single in the first. That plated Tommy Jew. Swinging a ground ball over to second base, fielded on 2 hops by Hayden Cantrell. Tosses over to first for the first out of the bottom of the third. The Pages records a 4-3 to start things off, and it'll bring up Seth Gray, the first of 3 lefties in the lineup for Hyannis. Gray flew out in his first at bat. It was a weak pop-up out to Will Brennan in left field. Swings at the first pitch and sends a high fly ball out to fairly deep center field. Backtracking off to his left is Austin Langworthy, but settles under it 2 feet in front of the warning track and puts it away for the second out. Seth Gray gave it a ride, saw a first pitch out over the plate from Politz, but couldn't quite get enough on it to drive it over the 394 sign out in straightaway center. 2 flyouts for the Wright State Raider to start his night. But now Todd Lott already looking to build on what's been an impressive resume through the first 2.5 frames of this ballgame. Swings at the first pitch and sends a line drive down the right field line, staying fair for a base hit. Lott rounds first, takes a hard turn, but will retreat back to the bag. And just like that, Todd Lott is 2 for 2 on the day. Home run and a single, halfway to the cycle already. But the Harbor Hawks have a man on with 2 outs in a 4-4 ball game. That'll bring up Trevor Hauver. But back to Todd Lott really quick. He hit a 3-run missile out to left center field to give the Harbor Hawks a 4-2 lead in the bottom of the first. Will Brennan gave a leaping effort but couldn't come up with anything, as Hauver fouls the first pitch off the end of the bat, squiggles behind home plate for strike 1. Todd Lott participated in the home run derby back on Sunday. Lost in the first round, but picking up right where he left off here at McKeon Park. Now the 0-1 to Hauver. Breaking ball in the dirt. Lott taking off for second. Throw down by Isert, and it's well in time to gun down Lott with a head first slide, and that'll be out number 3 in the bottom of the third. So Scott Politz faces the minimum by a technicality here, as a 2-out single from Todd Lott is washed away as he was caught stealing second. That'll do it for the Harbor Hawks in the bottom of the third, as this game is knotted up 4-4. Top half of the fourth coming up, due up for the Commodores. Hayden Cantrell, Matt Wallner, and Austin Langworthy when we return on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network.
Magic Works Media copyright. Magic Works Media copyright. Magic Works Media copyright.
Back to Chad Gassman making all the right moves on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network.
Top half of the fourth here at McKeon Park, a 4-4 contest between the Harbor Hawks and the Commodores. As Houston Roth's night is done after 3 innings pitched. New man on the hill for the Hyannis Ball Club, right-hander Brett Schultz out of the University of Minnesota, as the first pitch fastball swung on and missed by Hayden Cantrell. Roth's final line, 3 innings pitched, 4 earned on 6 hits, walked 3, and struck out 4. Schultz ready. The 0-1 to Cantrell, swinging a line drive past the diving Brady Lindsley down the right field line. Cantrell making a turnaround first, heading for second. Now making the turn to second. He's going to go for 3. Cut off by Como, and the relay to third is not in time. Standing up at third is Hayden Cantrell with a triple for back-to-back nights here against the Harbor Hawks. As there's a man on third in the top of the fourth with nobody out. Cantrell continuing to roll against Hyannis.
Cantrell with the big speedy legs there, runs all the way to third base. Almost falls down as he thought about sliding at first, but then held himself up at the last second. A great hit down the line.
He ropes a line drive past Brady Lindsley at first base, and Trevor Hoover was playing more toward the gap, so it gave the speedy Cantrell a lot of time as Wallner checks his swing but takes a strike on a breaking ball. Hayden Cantrell went 1 for 4 last night with a triple, so a triple in back-to-back nights. But how about this? 6 of his 9 runs batted in this season come against the Harbor Hawks. 3 yesterday and 3 on opening night. Next pitch to Matt Wallner is an off-speed, up and out of the zone. So for Cantrell, someone who's hitting just 186 this summer, he's had the Harbor Hawks number. Schultz from the set. The 1-1 to Wallner, a swing and a miss, swinging right over the top of a breaking ball. Wallner's 0 for 2 today. Hitting just 200 this summer against right-handed pitching. Schultz gets his sign, checks the runner at third. 0-2 pitch. Fastball gets past Pedro Pages behind home plate and to the backstop. Cruising home is Hayden Cantrell, and the Commodores take the lead 5-4 here in the fourth. That'll be recorded a pass ball on Pedro Pages, who extended his left arm out to the backhand side but couldn't quite knock down the ball. And Cantrell jogs home. Bases are clear for the hitter in Wallner, looking for his first hit of the day. The next pitch from Schultz misses inside with a breaking ball. 3-2 count. 5-4 here in Hyannis. Schultz gets his sign, the 3-2 pitch, a swing and a miss for strike 3. And through the first 4 innings, Matt Wallner's already drawn himself a sombrero. 3 strikeouts in his first 3 at-bats, and that's out number 1 for Brett Schultz in the top of the fourth.
Nasty off-speed pitch by Schultz, being able to get Wallner to swing and miss.
Wallner's had a rough go of it over the last handful of ball games. Now sits at 0 for his last 15. And now Austin Langworthy digs in and takes a called strike on a fastball. A lot of these Commodore hitters were in some major hitting slumps coming into today. Langworthy, no exception. 0 for his last 13 before the last 2 at-bats. He swings and misses through a breaking ball. But so far today, 2 runs scored, a single and a home run. Schultz now ready. The next offering, a breaking ball down low. Pedro Pages chests it up. The count's now 1-2. Langworthy struggled most of this summer. Currently sits with a 200 batting average. Infield back, the pitch from Schultz. Another breaking ball, low and outside. And the Commodores, for as much talent as they have on paper, have struggled often at times this season with the bats. Now the 2-2 from Brett Schultz, a swing and a pop-up foul behind home plate and out of play. Commodores come into today last in the league in batting average, ranking 10th with a .229 team clip. and their 262 hits coming into today also ranked dead last in league ranks. Langworthy cuts through a breaking ball and sends it foul right behind home plate. Nevertheless, Falmouth sits in third place with 39 points. They've won their last two contests, both against the Harbor Hawks, and looking for their third straight. A swing and a foul back off the netting by Langworthy. Well, the story of Falmouth's season, no question, is on the mound. Their team ERA ranks first in the league, with arms like Tyler Dyson, Adam Lasky, who the Harbor Hawks have seen the last two games. As Schultz's 2-2 pitch misses down, skips away from Pages to move the count full. The Dyson, a projected first-round pick toward the top half in 2019. Meanwhile, you've got Adam Lasky, who's been dealing all summer, 4-0 with a sub-2.5 ERA. A swing and a miss from Langworthy through the 3-2 fastball above the letters retires the Florida Gator for the second out of the inning.
Schultz doing a very good job so far coming out of the pen in this early evening matchup, just really commanding his pitches really well.
Back-to-back strikeouts for the Minnesota right-hander. He now faces the Commodores' most dangerous hitter in Stanford Cardinal, Kyle Stowers. First pitch breaking ball misses inside. Well, there's been a little bit of a pattern with Stowers so far today. He's gotten a lot of first pitch slow stuff after the way he's been swinging the bat over the last few days. Another breaking ball from Schultz misses away. Stowers is on a 7-game hitting streak. 7 of the last 9 games he has multi-hit games, and he leads the Cape League in extra base hits. Cuts one right back off the netting right there to move the count to 2-1. Fights off a fastball from Brett Schultz. Stowers, a left-handed bat for the Commodores. Not much motion to his batting stance. Hands set still right at the letters. A swing and a miss right through another heater from Schultz as the count now sits at 2 balls and 2 strikes. 5-4 Falmouth the score. Brett Schultz looking to strike out the side after a leadoff triple. 2-2 on the way. Breaking ball low and in. Infield back. Sun starting to set here at McKeon Park. Schultz gets his sign. The payoff pitch, swinging a ground ball over to Brady Lindsley at first. Fields it cleanly, moving off to his right. Takes it himself to the bag for out number 3. And Brett Schultz has gotten himself out of the top of the 4th. He allows 1 run in his first inning of relief after a Hayden Cantrell triple. Plates him on a pass ball, but then retires the next 3 hitters in order. 5-4 the score in favor of the Commodores. And the Harbor Hawks will be up in the bottom of the 4th right after this on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network.
Magic Works Media copyright.
Middle of the 4th inning, taking you on a trip around the league here in the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network. I'm Chris Lucy, pre- and post-game host. You can catch me on Hawk Talk as well tonight. But let's start off this trip around the Cape out at Spillane Field in Wareham. A 12:30 start between the YD Red Sox and the Gatemen, and that one went 5-0 in favor of the Red Sox. Hyannis will stay in first place no matter what happens here at McKeon Park tonight. Moving now over to Lowell Park in Kitsui. It was a 4-2 score in the top of the 7th inning. Bourne has lost 8 of its last 10 games, and they play Hyannis tomorrow. So the Harbor Hawks catching the Braves possibly at the toughest stretch of their season so far. Orleans and Harwich. Orleans leading 2-1 in the top of the 3rd inning, and Chatham and Brewster have yet to get underway from Veterans Field. Now back to Lyle Goldstein and Robert Marcello with today's play-by-play. Gentlemen, take it away.
Trevor Hauber set to lead things off in the bottom of the 4th as Scott Politz makes his way back to the mound for the Commodores. First pitch to Hauber is a breaking ball, waved out and missed for strike 1. Hauber began an at-bat back in the 3rd inning but Todd Lott was caught stealing to end things. Politz faced the minimum in the third. And now Hauber takes a fastball down and in. Trevor's 0 for 1. Struck out looking in the first inning. Currently 0 for his last 10. Here comes the 1-1. Misses inside on an off speed. Hauber hitting .263, but sure likes to hit here at McKeon Park. Comes into the day hitting .300 at home as he sends a ground ball over to Kyle Stowers at first, fields it on the lip of the grass, fires over to Politz covering the bag in time for out number 1.
A hard hit ball over at Stowers over at first base, being able to make a nice stop, being able to throw it over the pitcher.
Stowers has spent the last couple of games in the designated hitter spot, but over at first base today. Braden Como, the Rice second baseman, due for his second at bat. And second time seeing Scott Politz. Right-hander kicks and fires the first pitch, and Braden grounds it foul off his ankle, and it squiggles down the third base line. Scott Politz coming off what has been his best season at Yale. He's been named to the Ivy League All-Conference for 3 straight seasons. That no exception this year, receiving first-team honoree. Now the pitch to Como, swinging a line drive down the left field line. This one hooking foul and into the bullpen. Como retreats back to the batter's box. Bat in his right hand. Politz, a returning Commodore this summer. Went 15 innings in 2017. 4.80 ERA and 6 strikeouts. Now the pitch to Como, a swing and a miss for strike 3. Swings at a breaking ball down in the dirt for out number 2 as Como's retired for the second time tonight, and Politz has himself 2 outs in the bottom of the 4th.
A nasty pitch there by Politz, and Como couldn't hold up, though, his swing at that off-speed pitch low in the dirt for the second out.
Third strikeout on the day for the Yale Bulldog as he's set to face the number 9 hitter in Brady Lindsley. Lindsley yet to record an official at-bat. Swings at the first pitch and sends a line drive into short left field, getting down for a base hit. Thrown back in by Will Brennan over to Logan Davidson, but Brady Lindsley reaches with a 2-out single and turns the lineup over to Davis Wenzel at the top.
As a 9th man in the order, you always want to get on base to be able to get the top of the order up, and he did just that.
Brady Lindsley records his first hit since July the 17th here at McKeon Park against the Bourne Braves. That exactly a week ago. Wenzel takes the first pitch down low. Lindsley broke an 0 for 7 slump as he now gets a lead at first, being held on by Stowers with 2 outs. Wenzel wiggling that bat at the head level. Watches another breaking ball by, up and out of the zone for ball 2. So Politz got off to a rocky start, but has since recorded back-to-back scoreless frames. He checks the runner at first, works from the right side in the set. The 2-0 on the way, off speed for a called strike. He's been the most valuable arm in the Bulldogs pitching staff over the last 3 years, and this season no exception. 10 quality starts for the right-hander this season. Wenzel swings at a 2-1 pitch and sends it foul down the third base line. Cameron Cannon fielded it on the backhand, both legs straddling the line, but called foul by home plate umpire Dave Bailey. Wenzel adjusts his batting gloves as he walks back to the box, picks up his black wooden bat with a red tape gripped across the handle, and takes half a practice swing. The Politz, 10 quality starts in 12 outings, went 6 innings or more in every start but the first of the year. Time's called as Wenzel puts 1 foot out of the box. But Politz has been a bulldog, to say the least, and no pun intended there. Set with the pitch to Wenzel. A breaking ball swung on and fouled off behind home plate. Got just a piece of it off the end of the bat. Davis Wenzel standing at 6 feet, 205 pounds. Baylor Bear finds himself in a 2-strike count. 2-2, 2 outs, 5-4 Falmouth the score. The pitch, a fastball inside. Wenzel watches it go by. Almost brushes that left pant leg. But now the count sits at 3-2. Infield back, outfield straight up. Lindsley takes off, the 3-2 on the way. Ball 4 up and away as Davis Wenzel draws his 18th walk of the summer. And the Harbor Hawks have 2 runners on with 2 outs.
The Harbor Hawks being down by 1 run as this game seems like every single time the Harbor Hawks take the lead or Falmouth takes the lead, the other team comes right back and score. So let's see here with Tommy Jew up. Now up at the plate. Let's see if he can drive a man in.
Well, Tommy Jew continuing to build on a hot last 5 games. As we mentioned in his last at bat, 444 over the last 5 contests. He takes a called strike on the inside corner. Tommy hitting .375 with runners on base this season. Lindsley gets a lead at second, Wenzel at first. A fastball from Politz runs outside to even the count. Well, after Tommy saw his batting average sitting below the Mendoza line for the better part of this summer, he now sits with a .262 clip. The 1-1, a looping breaking ball missing above the letters. That off-speed pitch, that breaking ball from Scott Politz has been his secondary go-to pitch today to complement that fastball. Now ready with the 2-1. Jew swings and sends a line drive down the left field line, just foul to the left of the chalk. Tommy just a little bit out in front of that one from Politz, hooking it foul. And a walk back to the box with a 2-2 count. So Tommy now on a scorching hot streak over the last handful of games. And looking to plate his 6th RBI of the summer. The 2-2 on the way, swinging a chopper right back to the mound in Politz, cuts the distance off by about half, underhands it to first, and Jew is retired for the 3rd out of the inning. Harbor Hawks can't put any across in the bottom of the 4th, go scoreless for the 3rd consecutive inning, and still trail by a run here. 5-4 Falmouth the score through 4 innings. We'll be back right after this. Due up for the Commodores, Davis Sims, Logan Davidson, and Cameron Cannon when we return on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks digital network.
Magic Works Media copyright. Magic Works Media copyright.
Four, 5, 6 due up for the Commodores in the top half of the 5th inning as Davis Sims leads things off for Falmouth. Brett Schultz back on the mound for inning number 2 of his relief appearance. It'll be Brett's first time seeing the new Western Kentucky Hilltopper in Sims. As the right-hander kicks and fires the first pitch, a breaking ball running to the outside corner for strike one. Brett Schultz came into this appearance throwing 11 2/3 innings, 6.17 ERA. Fastball upstairs brushes Sims off the plate. He walked 5 and struck out 10 coming into today, making his 10th appearance this summer. Now ready with the 1-1, swinging a line drive into short right center field, dunking in for a base hit. Sims takes a short turn at first as the ball is thrown back in by Tommy Jew, and Sims is 1 for 1 on the day, third time reaching base, and the leadoff man's aboard for the Commodores in the top of the 5th.
The first times he was up to bat, both times he walked and now has a base hit, 1 for 1 on the day.
Both times he's been stranded at third as well. But we'll see where he ends up at the end of this inning as Logan Davidson digs in. Number 5 hitter for the Commodores. Seth Gray playing in front of the bag at third base, right on the lip of the infield grass. Lindsley holding on the runner. First pitch to Davidson is a fastball low and inside. Davidson's had a 1 for 1 day, a single and an RBI walk. Also his first time tonight seeing Schultz. The Golden Gopher fires in a breaking ball that swung on and grounded foul to the right side. Davidson now has finally got that average above 200, sitting 204 this summer. Looking to extend a rally here for the Commodores as Sims got on with a leadoff base on balls. Schultz the set. The pitch on the way, swinging a high fly ball out to left center field. Matthew Barefoot tracking back and off to his left. Settles under it to make the catch. Sims retreats back to first, and Brett Schultz gets his first out of the 5th. Davidson's retired for the first time tonight. And now Cameron Cannon will dig in. Cannon so far today, 2 singles, one of them being for an RBI. Continues to raise his batting average as well, up to 256 this summer. Schultz ready. The first pitch, a fastball just away for ball 1. Cameron Cannon standing from the right-handed side. One of just 2 right-handed hitters for the Commodores tonight, along with Sims, who stands at first. Swings and sends a nibbler out to Braden Como, charging in from second. Fields it cleanly, fires over to Lindsley at first. And that's in time for out number 2. Moving up to second on the play is Davis Sims. And with 2 outs, Will Brennan will step to the plate.
Como had to take his time to be able to get that ball because he's really unsure. It just really slowed up on him. He first charged in. Almost was safe at first was Cannon, but Como throwing it in time.
Will Brennan, who's 0 for 2 today, but reached once with a fielder's choice, now finds himself in an RBI opportunity. Sims standing at second, as Pedro Pages went out to have a word with Schultz, but now retreats back behind home plate. Schultz from the set. Wenzel right behind Sims at second, now retreats back to short. The first pitch is a looping breaking ball in there for strike 1. That ball moving from one side of the plate to the other, finishing right at the inside, touching the black on the inner half for strike 1. Brennan struggling with the bat this summer and hitting just 163 with runners on base. Schultz ready, the 0-1. Fastball gets away from Pages behind home over to the brick backstop, and Davis Sims trots up to third. For the 3rd time in as many tries on the base paths, he finds himself over at third base. He advanced to second on a 4-3 putout, and now on a wild pitch from Brett Schultz stands at third. Although Sims still hasn't scored tonight. Was stranded in the first, stranded in the 3rd, and now stands 90 feet away with 2 outs in the 5th. Schultz the set. Breaking ball swung on and fouled off behind home by Brennan. Count now 1-2. Commodores have scored in every inning up to this point. Their 5 runs of scoring have been very spread out, where the Harbor Hawks got all 4 of theirs in the bottom of the first. Schultz the set, the 1-2 on the way. Fastball grounded out to Davis Wenzel at short. Charging in, fields it glove side. Throw across to first, a stretch by Lindsley, and it's in time for out number 3. So Brett Schultz records the first scoreless inning for the Harbor Hawks on defense tonight and keeps the score at a 1-run deficit for Hyannis. 5-4 Commodores through 4.5 frames, and we'll be back in the bottom of the 5th right after this on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network.
Magic Works Media copyright. Magic Works Media copyright. Magic Works Media copyright.
You're listening to the Hyannis Harbor Hawks on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network. Now back to today's voice of the Hawks, Rob Marcello.
Welcome back on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network. I'm Robert Marcello. New pitcher on the mound for the Commodores, Zine Koch. Matthew Barefoot up. The first pitch is called a strike low.
Well, Scott Politz is done tonight. After 4 innings pitched, he gave up 4 earned runs, all in the bottom of the first, 6 hits, and struck out 3.
And the 1-0 pitch is sent out into the gap out in left center field. That will get down to Matthew Barefoot. We'll have a leadoff single.
I mean, my goodness, does this kid ever stop hitting? It's really unbelievable. I mean, he's reached base in every game he's played this season. He's already on a new hitting streak at 4 games, and he's got 2 already tonight. 2 singles. His average coming in at 400 to start the at-bat, and now he's at 404 already. He started the day at 396, and it's already jumped up 8 points. He's been some fun to watch this summer, hasn't he?
He sure has. He had a great hitting streak, as you just mentioned. It got snapped the other day. Now is 4. Game hitting streak. Pedro Pages now up. That first pitch is low for a ball. Up in the count 1-0 is Pedro Pages. 5-4 Falmouth if you're just joining us here on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network. And the next pitch. That is outside as well. Ball 2. 2-0 count in Pages' favor. Lights shining bright here tonight at McKeon Park. And the 2-0 pitch. That pitch is in the dirt, but stopped by the catcher. and Eisner. Matthew Barefoot, though, didn't go at first. Still off at first is Matthew Barefoot taking a small lead. Covering them is Stowers. And the next pitch. That is ball 4. And the first two guys get on to start the bottom of the 5th inning.
Koch's into a little bit of trouble to start the 5th. Give up the hit to Barefoot, and now the walk to Pages. But how about Ian Koch? I mean, for a kid coming out of Western Illinois, this kid has arguably been the best reliever on the Cape this summer. His numbers up to this point, 22 innings pitched, 0.81 ERA, 20 strikeouts to 9 walks.
Seth Gray now up, batting on the left side. He first thinks about putting a bunt down, throws back to second base, will get past the shortstop. The runners will advance. They're in heads-up defense.
Well, often when a bunt is attempted by any player, you'll see a catcher try to snap throw back to second base to catch a runner off balance. But that one from Iser just sailing way to the left of Logan Davidson and sailing out to right center field. And Barefoot trotting out to third, having no problem advancing 90 feet. Pages more of the same.
Seth Gray still up the bat. And the next pitch. That is in low. Almost hits Seth Gray, gets past the catcher, but no runners advance. Man at second and third, nobody out in the bottom of the 5th. And the next pitch. That is a off-speed pitch low in the dirt. Seth Gray on the season batting .288. 12 RBIs, but no home runs. 26 for 90. And the next pitch. That is in low for ball 4, and the bases are now loaded. The Harbor Hawks potentially could tie this game in, maybe take the lead.
Well, it's been no shortage of offense so far here tonight for sure, Rob. Runners have reached in every inning so far for Hyannis, although through just 4 innings of offense, they've already stranded 6 on base, and we've talked about the struggles that they've endured through the course of this season with not being able to drive in runners, especially with less than 2 outs. But with the bases loaded and nobody out, you've got the right guy up in Todd Lott, who's already smashed a 3-run home run here tonight.
Sure have. The pitching coach for Falmouth is talking to the pitcher out on the mound. It is 7:45 here in downtown Hyannis, Eastern Time. Home plate umpire, though, is going to break up their conversation, trying to speed this game up along. Everyone's going to go back to their respective positions, and we're going to get play starting up again. Home plate umpire and the pitcher coach of Falmouth just talking, smiling, is chuckling in a couple jokes. Todd Lott back up at the plate. Bases are loaded. And Todd Lott with already a 3-home run shot here. A grand slam would go a long way. Gets past the catcher, but the runners will not advance. Good stop by Eisner, not allowing any runners to advance. Bases are loaded, nobody out in the bottom of the 5th. 5-4 Falmouth. All 3 runners on base, not even being covered, as they can take as big as a lead as they want to without getting picked off. And the next pitch. That's a ball outside. Koch having a hard time out on the mound. He has a below 1 ERA, though. He has 20 strikeouts. And the 0 pitch. Sends it foul. There, Todd Lott at first glance thought that would be in the field of play, and Stowers was going to be able to catch it. But the breeze here in Falmouth, the breeze in Hyannis took it and sent it foul. Bases are still loaded. And the next pitch is grounded over to the third baseman. Takes off his glove there, steps on to third. And this game is tied 5-5.
Well, Cannon moving back and a little bit off to his right to try and backhand that ball out behind third base. He had no play at the plate, being off balance, so he made the right move, stepping on the bag over at third, just beating the runner to the bag in Pages. But it scores Matthew Barefoot from third, and Todd Lott, having a productive day, has accounted for 3 of the RBIs and 4 of the runs.
Trevor Hoover now up. That first off-speed pitch is called outside for the ball. Men at first and second with 1 out in the bottom of the 5th. The score is tied 5-5. Action going on in the Harbor Hawks bullpen, but no action in the Falmouth one. The next pitch, right down the heart of the plate, the fastball for a strike. Trevor Hoover from Arizona State. He's batting .267 on the season, 1 home run and 8 RBIs. And that next pitch is high outside. Count even at 1-1. Counts now at 2-1. And the 2-1 pitch. Sends it out to left field, and that will get down. And that will score a run. The Harbor Hawks, for the first time, or for the second time today, they're back in the lead. It's now 6-5, and they're now runners at second and third.
And now the offense starting to spread out a little bit. Todd Lott had accounted for 4 of the runs before that, and now Trevor Hoover picking up an RBI double. And critical for Trevor, he just broke an 0 for 11 right there, just hooking that one down the left field line. Stayed fair, read it perfectly, and took off for second in no time as Brennan bobbled it a little bit out in the outfield. But Trevor Hoover coming up with a key double right there to put the Harbor Hawks back on top.
Braden Como now up. The infield playing in for Falmouth. And the first pitch of the bat is sent right past the shortstop. 1 run comes in, another one right behind him. And the Harbor Hawks having a big bottom of the 5th inning.
And back-to-back hits now for the Harbor Hawks. And how about Braden Como breaking a little bit of a slump? He came into today hitting 167 in his last 10 games, but he wastes no time with a first pitch from Koch, drilling that right back up the middle. Hoover scoring from second, getting on his horse. And Hyannis starting to pour it on here in the 5th. 8-5 now the score.
Bray Lindsley now up. And a great crowd here today at McKeon Park for Christmas in July. It is 8-5 Hyannis now. Harbor Hawks trying to create some distance from themselves as the Wareham Gatemen lost earlier this evening 5-0 to the YD Red Sox. And the next pitch, Como is going. That was a hit and run situation, but fouls it off.
Yeah, pretty cool for those 2 teams today because they got to go and play out at a AA stadium. How about that? Out in Hartford, Connecticut. Getting a day game between the Red Sox and the Gatemen, but back to the league importance. Fortunately for Western Division teams, Wareham takes a loss. So like you mentioned, Rob, Hyannis has a chance to make it out to a 3-point lead.
And the next pitch is outside for a ball. Off at first is Braden Como. And the next pitch was a check swing by Brady Lindsley. Count at 2-2. Even. Como still over at first, being guarded by Sims. That next pitch is fouled off. Count still even at 2-2. Only 1 out, though, in the bottom of the 5th is the Harbor Hawks. are back in the lead with 8-5 here from McKeon Park. Brady Lindsley batting 158 on the year, but has 6 RBIs. And the next pitch, swing and a miss. At that off-speed pitch low for strike 3.
First strikeout of the day for Ian Koch, getting Lindsley to chase an off-speed pitch down and off the plate. Lindsley now 1 for 2 on the day, but Koch gets a critical second out. Looking to get out of an inning here. The Harbor Hawks have already sent 7 guys to the plate.
Davis Wenzel now up. And the first pitch of that at bat is in for a strike. Just catching the outside part of the plate. Como is still over at first. And the 0-1 pitch. That is inside, right on the hands for a ball. Now even at 1-1. Davis Wenzel, the Baylor Bear, the top man in the order for the Harbor Hawks. And the 0 pitch. That is in the dirt for a ball. Count now at 2-1. Como still over at first. 2 outs in the bottom of the 5th. 8-5 Harbor Hawks. And it is in. That's the ball high. Wenzel definitely was not going to swing at that pitch. It almost went to the backstop, but a good stop by Iser to make sure Como over at first did not advance. Up next after Wenzel, if he's able to get on, is Tommy Jew, who's had himself quite a day. That next pitch is in for a strike. Wenzel thought it would be ball 4. Chad Gassman not too happy about that call and just froze himself over at third. And the next pitch, swing and a miss, strike 3 at that off speed. Low outside, and after 5 innings, the Harbor Hawks take the lead. Once again, it is 8-5. We'll be right back here on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network.
Magic Works Media copyright. Magic Works Media copyright.
You're listening to the Cape Cod Baseball League on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network. Let's get you back to the game.
To start things off in the top of the 6th inning is Herbert Iser, 8th man in the order for the Commodores. Behind the plate today for Falmouth. That first pitch is grounded out down the first base line, but will be foul. Brady Lindsley thought about catching the ball. Besides the run that Schultz has led up so far today. He's done a really nice job coming out of the pen. It is 8-5 Hyannis. That 0-1 pitch is called for a ball high. Count even at 1-1. Nobody out in the top of the 6th inning. The 1-1 pitch. A nasty off-speed pitch in for a strike. Swing and miss. There is Iser. Iser on the year batting 166. Only has 1 RBI, 3 for 18, newly added on the Commodores squad. And that next pitch, swing and a miss for strike 3. Pedro Pages just throws it over to first base. Iser doesn't even think about running over to first. And that'll be the first down on the top of the 6th.
Schultz really starting to find his stuff. It's his 3rd strikeout of the night. Retired the last 4 hitters.
Hayden Cantrell now out with 1 out in the top of the 6th. Schultz's first pitch into Cantrell is called high for a ball. Defensively, the Harbor Hawks playing at regular depth. Trying to get a little cloudy here in Hyannis. Next pitch is sent out to deep center field, but Tommy Jew's going to be under it to be able to catch it, and he sure does for the 2nd out in the top of the 6th.
He just covers so much ground with so little time, too. Taking a perfect drop step right as the ball left the bat of the hitter in Cantrell. Jew was playing straight away center and ran straight back for it. Stopped it right at about the warning track and settled under it even to make the catch.
Mal Wallner, the top of the order, has struck out 3 times the hat trick. And the first pitch is in for a ball, that off-speed pitch. Curving right back in the zone. Matt Wallner on the air is batting .235, 4 home runs and 8 RBIs. Brett Schultz so far this year has a 6.17 ERA. Seth Gray from 3rd throws it on to first, and in time he's able to get it. A great play by Seth Gray. The Harbor Hawks will be up in the bottom of the 6th. It is 8-5. We will be right back here in the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network.
Magic Works Media copyright. Magic Works Media copyright.
To lead things off in the bottom of the 6th is Tommy Jew. 8-5 Hyannis. Just down the mound is Ian Koch. Trying to redeem himself. First pitch of this inning is in for a strike. Sorry, half inning. Matthew Barefoot up after Tommy Jew. Next pitch is sent high in the air. That will be in the field of play and caught by the first baseman. And Stowers for the first out in the bottom of the 6th.
Tommy just getting under that one a little bit. Had 2 really productive first at-bats with a walk and a run scored, then a double in the 2nd. but has made out the last 2 appearances.
Matthew Barefoot now up. Hottest hitter in Cape Cod. That first pitch of this at bat is inside for a ball right on Matthew Barefoot's hands. If he tried to swing at that, his bat would have burst. And the 1-0 pitch. That is in for a strike. Count even at 1-1 to Matthew Barefoot. On the season, he's batting .396. 2 for 3 on the day. Next pitch is grounded just foul, and an inside pitch there broke Matthew Barefoot's bat. He'll have to get a new bat. Tommy Jew hands it to him. And Barefoot will be back up. Barefoot on the year has 3 home runs and 23 RBIs. He's a participant at this year's All-Star game. The infield for the Falmouth Commodores playing at regular depth. And the next pitch, that is in the dirt and will bounce way up behind the netting here at McKeon Park. The netting is protecting the fans, the scouts, and us as broadcasters. And the 0 pitch, that is sent foul just to the left of us, right near the batting cage turtle here in McKeon Park. And the 2-2 pitch. Swing and a miss, but just catches the edge of the bat there, and it'll be a foul ball. Count still even at 2-2. Action going on in both bullpens. As the Harbor Hawks are up by 3 runs, the most they've been up all day. That next pitch is in the dirt, will bounce to the backstop. Count runs at full 3-2 to Matthew Barefoot, the Campbell man. And the 0 pitch. That is sent high out to right field, where Wallner's on to catch it for the second out in the bottom of the 6th.
Yeah, Barefoot just trying to fight off one there from Koch, and he flipped it out to right field, but didn't get much on it. Pretty easy play for Wallner's. He fought off one on the sun earlier in the day. He couldn't seem to track the ball, but with the sun just about set here, didn't have much trouble.
Pedro Page is now up behind the dish today for the Harbor Hawks. Barefoot now 2 for 4 on the day. First pitch of the at-bat is low inside, bounces up, but good stop by Iser. 2 quick outs in the bottom of the 6th. Next pitch. That is in for a strike low. Right, pretty much down the heart of the plate. And the 1-1 pitch. Sends a laser out to left field, and that will get down in the line. Pedro Page is though only able to get a single out of it. Quickly throws it back in. Was Brennan.
He got it in on the hands a little bit, but muscled it out to left field, keeping it fair down the line. And Brennan continuing to play over in the gap, had to make a long run. Couldn't get there in time, and Pages records his 2nd hit of the night and 3rd time reaching base.
Seth Gray now up 0 for 2 in the day. And the pitch. That's a check swing for a strike by Seth Gray. Over at first is Pedro Pages being held on by Stowers. They're having a conversation. Oh, 1 pitch. That is grounded and will get past the first and second baseman in 2 straight hits for the Harbor Hawks, trying to widen their lead.
Well, Seth Gray now with hits in 7 of the last 9 games. Was 0 for 2 with a walk coming into that at bat, but just a C&I single through the left side, punches it through in time for a base knock, and the Harbor Hawks threatening. And nobody better in tonight's ball game than to have up than Todd Lott. Already 4 RBIs today.
Todd Lott is up, as you said, Lyle. And at first and second with 2 outs in the bottom of the 6th. Looked like Falmouth was going to be able to get out of this unscathed. But now, with Todd Lott being up, Harbor Hawks can widen their lead. One-0 pitch. That is in dirt. That will get past the catcher. And there'll now be runners both at scoring position at second and third. Todd Lott adjusting his batting gloves. He already has a home run today. Trying to add another one. As that'll be a word of pass ball. 8-5, 2 runners on base, 2 outs in the bottom of the 6th. And the 0 pitch. That will be a nasty off-speed pitch in for a strike. Still 8-5. And the pitch from Lott. That is outside for a ball. Catcher and Eisner, though, thought that Lott swang, so he checked over to the first base umpire, but didn't even give a ruling as it wasn't even close. And the next pitch. That will be in for a strike. Todd Lott thought about swinging at that one, but doesn't really matter because it's called a strike. Lott on the season batting .287, 5 home runs and 13 RBIs. One he already has tonight. He's batting 2 for 3. And the pitch. That is in the dirt, and that will be a walk. The bases are now loaded for Trevor Hauver.
Well, Todd Lott staying patient at that at bat. Didn't draw an RBI, but extending the 2-out rally for Hyannis. Didn't chase anything off the dirt from the pitcher and Koch. And will now reach base and a new hitter for the Harbor Hawks. And Hauver has a chance to now really blow it open. 3-run lead as we speak, but the base is loaded.
And it appears a new pitcher is going to come on for the Falmouth Commodores. As now he's just going to hand him the ball, and he'll go back to the dugout. Koch's day is done. We're going to allow this new pitcher to throw his warm-up tosses. We'll be right back here on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network.
Magic Works Media copyright. Magic Works Media copyright. Magic Works Media copyright. Magic Works Media.
Eric Rivera now up. He'll be pinch hitting for Trevor Hauver. Bases are loaded. 2 outs in the bottom of the 6th inning. The Harbor Hawks are up 8-5, trying to widen their lead. And the first pitch to Rivera. He is hit by pitch. A runner will come home. It is now 9-5, Harbor Hawks.
Well, Eric Rivera not having to do much in that at bat. Just stood there and let it hit him right on that front leg. He's just fine, jogging down to first, and now it's a 4-run lead for Hyannis.
Now up Braden Como. First pitch is outside for a ball. Bases are still loaded after Eric Rivera got hit by a pitch. It is 9-5 Harbor Hawks. And the next pitch is swing and a miss by Braden Como behind that lively fastball. A new pitcher for the Commodores is Mitch Miller is out on the mound. The day is done for Ian Koch. As Miller, the first guy he faced, he hit a batter. That next pitch is in for a ball. Braden Como in a big spot. Harbor Hawks now up by 4 runs. The big hit here. The Harbor Hawks need to get themselves quite distance from the Commodores. That next pitch is called a strike. Como doesn't like that pitch as he has to debrief himself with the umpire to make sure he did call a strike. Bases are still loaded. Next pitch. That is just dribbled up there by the catcher. He's able to catch it for the 3rd out of the inning. The Harbor Hawks do add a run, though, to make it 9-5. After 6 innings, the Harbor Hawks will be on defensively while the Falmouth Commodores will be up in the top of the 7th. We'll be right back here on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network.
Magic Works Media copyright. Magic Works Media copyright.
You're listening to the Hyannis Harbor Hawks on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network. Now back to today's voice of the Hawks, Rob Marcello.
Welcome back here on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network. It is 9-5 Harbor Hawks. Now up is Austin Langworthy to start things off in the top of the 7th. Brett Stroh's on the mound. First pitch in for a strike, right down the heart of the plate. Scholl so far coming out of the bullpen today has done a pretty good job. This is my solo inning in the 7th inning as Lyle had his in the 3rd. Had a pretty long one. That next pitch is sent foul. And the pitch. That is high for a ball. Brett Scholl's out of the University of Minnesota, the Golden Gophers. Play some of their games where the Minnesota Vikings play. That next off-speed pitch in low in the dirt for a ball. And the pitch from Scholl's. That is a ground ball that will not get past Brady Lindsley. Tosses it, throws it on to Brett Scholl's. What a play by Brady Lindsley for the first out. In the top of the 7th, an acrobatic play. Kyle Stowers now up. Stowers on the day is 1 for 3. And Brady Lindsley being able to rob a hit from Austin Langworthy. That off-speed pitch in for a strike route down the heart of the plate. Stowers definitely wasn't expecting that as his knees bent a little bit. Probably one of the largest crowds of the season here today at McKeon Park for Christmas in July. Very festive day. Count is even at 1-1. Stowers on the season batting .361. Next pitch. Fouls it off. Right behind home plate. Where all the scouts are sitting. Where you can find the lineup each game here at McKeon Park. And the next pitch into Stowers. Swing and a miss. Strike 3. Brett Scholl's off to a good start in the top of the 7th inning. Also behind home plate where you can find our scout liaison, David Mandelberg. Not only is he a scout liaison, but he's also an actor on the side. Now up is Davis Sims. Betting on the right side of the plate. First pitch high for a ball. Count in Sims' favor early, 1-0. He's DH today for the Commodores. Batting in the cleanup spot. Next pitch is way outside for a ball. But Scholl's getting 2 quick outs. At the end of this inning, he'll definitely have to thank Brady Lindsley for an acrobatic play over at first. And the next pitch. Swinging and misses that high fastball by Sims. Not being able to catch up to it as it rose right up the zone. Shows almost 4 innings of work. In the next pitch. Hits it right off Pedro Page's mask there on the kind of chip swing there. Just fouls it off. Pages is all right, though. As he's wearing a 2-piece catcher's mask. And so does Kyle Wilkie. And the next pitch into Davis Sims. Sends a rocket down the third base side, way past the Osprey nest. That'll be going foul. As that was fair, that would have been long gone out of this ballpark. And the pitch. Sends it off. Scholl still on the mound for the Harbor Hawks, trying to finish out his 4th inning of work as he's done a really nice job. That next pitch is a screecher out to center field, but caught by Tommy Jew. And the Harbor Hawks will be up in the bottom of the 7th. It is 9-5 Hyannis. We will be right back here on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network.
Magic Works Media copyright. Magic Works Media copyright.
You're listening to the Hyannis Harbor Hawks on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network. Now back to today's voice of the Hawks, Rob Marcello.
Welcome back here at McKeon Park. As you can hear the Alvin and the Chipmunks music playing throughout the ballpark, as it is Christmas in July. Brady Lindsley is now up to lead things off. In the bottom of the 7th. Still my solo inning. Lyle will be joining me back in the top of the 8th inning. Miller still on the mound. First pitch, call a strike on the outside part of the plate. Lindsley on the day. 1 for 2. That next pitch is in for a strike. Lindsley doesn't like that call either. And quickly down the count, 0-2 is Brady Lindsley. And the pitch. That is outside for a ball. After Lindsley, we'll get back to the top of the order with Davis Wenzel. And the pitch. That is a roper out to the first baseman. He's able to get it. On his backhand, throws it around after stepping on first for the first out in the bottom of the 7th. As he grounded out to the first baseman. Now the top of the order with Davis Wenzel. After Davis Wenzel will be Tommy Jew, and then after Tommy Jew will be Matthew Barefoot. First pitch from Miller into Wenzel is called a strike. Mitch Miller has a 4.50 ERA in 18 innings pitched with 24 strikeouts. That next pitch is off the mark for a ball. Count even at 1-1. That next pitch goes past the shortstop. They're just a little blooper in a 1-out single for the Harbor Hawks. They're already up 4 runs, trying to widen their lead. Tommy Jew is now up. Came around to score in the first inning, along with a double so far in the day. Last time he's been up, though, he's been getting out. Wenzel, before that, was 1 for 4 in the day. First pitch is called a strike. Wenzel is now 1 for 4 in the day with that hit. Broke his streak of 0 for 3. Miller trying to keep this at a 4-run deficit for the Commodores. Harbor Hawks not having much success so far this season against them, as their only win against them is here at McKeon Park. Taking the lead off of first is Davis Wenzel. And the pitch. That almost hits Tommy Jew. He has to bend out of the way of that pitch. It is 8:27 here in Hyannis. A little ahead of schedule here after a slow start to this game. Next pitch. That does not catch the outer edge of the plate. That's a ball. Still off, leading at first is Wenzel. And the pitch. Sends it off foul just to the left of us past the Commodores' side. Hits the batting practice turtle right behind the Commodores' dugout. They use that for batting practice. Both teams hit every single day. As us broadcasters get here, the home team just finishes up, and then we're allowed to watch the away team, so we're on the road. It's always good to see the Harbor Hawks hit. That next pitch is fouled off. Bobby Melly, the first base coach, a former Harbor Hawk, was coached by Chad Gassman a couple of years ago. Very familiar with what goes on here at the Cape. Also a local guy from Massachusetts. And the pitch. Swing and a miss by Tommy Drew for a strikeout. And that'll be the second out in the bottom of the seventh inning. Matthew Barefoot now up. If Barefoot is able to get on, Pedro Pages on the leadoff. He's on the on-deck circle. Throws back to first. Wenzel, though, doesn't even have to slide. And the pitch. That is a roper down to second base. Second baseman has it. He'll throw it on to first. A ground ball that almost got past Cantrell over at second, but able to make a nice backhand play. And after 7 innings, the score is 9-5 Hyannis. We will be right back to start the top of the 8th inning here on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network.
Bringing you everything Harbor Hawk. In combination with the Hyannis Harbor Hawks and Ocean Street Studios comes a brand new show bringing you everything Harbor Hawk. This is Birds the Word, a comprehensive new way to engage with your favorite summer ball team. I'm your host, Harrison Myers, and every Thursday until the end of the 2018 Cape League season, we'll bring you everything Harbor Hawk. Interviews with players and coaches, behind-the-scenes tours, and stories you may not have heard about. Make sure you subscribe today so you don't miss any of the action. In combination with the Hyannis Harbor Hawks and Ocean
Magic Works Media copyright. Magic Works Media copyright.
Back to Chad Gassman making all the right moves on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network.
Ryan Pepio out on the mound for the Hyannis Harbor Hawks to start things off.
in the top of the 8th inning.
Pepio on the year, 2-0 record, ERA of 5.29 in 11 appearances, about to make his 12th on the summer. 17 innings pitched, struck out 28, and has walked 9.
Logan Davidson now up to start things off in the top of the 8th. They are down by 4 runs. First pitch called for an outside strike. Davidson on the season batting 196. He's 1 for 2 in the day. Pepio on the season has a 5.29 ERA in 17 innings pitched. That does not accurately represent what kind of pitcher he is. He's been very good out of the pen so far this year. Davidson on the season, 21 for 107. And the next pitch from Pepio. Outside for a ball. Davidson has no prior history with Pepio as his batting average is 0. Pepio trying to keep it at that. And the next pitch. That is high outside for a ball. And the pitch. That is a ball. Not called the strike there. Looked like that was going to catch the outside part of the plate. Lyle Goldstein joins me back in the booth. Hope you enjoyed your inning off, Lyle.
Pretty quick one.
It was as you joined, as I was talking about, behind home plate where you can find David Mandelberg, our scout liaison. That next pitch is called a strike 3 pitch. There, Davidson thought he was just going to trolley down to first base, but the home plate umpire has different ideas.
And a good breaking ball there from Pepio. It throws Davidson there right on the outer half of the plate. First time the Clemson shortstop's punched out tonight and retired for the second time this evening.
Now up is Cam Cannon. And the pitch. That is a laser sent out into the gap in left center field. On to catch it, though, is Tommy Jew. Converges on it and caught for the second out. A great play by Tommy Jew out in center field.
And like we talked about, I mean, he just makes it look so easy. The kid covers so much ground, got such a great jump on it, going off to his right and out into the gap pretty deep. Made the catch on the run just in front of the warning track. But he almost did it so effortlessly is what's pretty incredible about it, too, where you'll have to see some guys pick up the jets toward the end, but it almost looks like Tommy just cruised under that thing.
He sure did. Will Brennan now up. First pitch into Brennan is a laser that's sent past Braden Como over at second base. And that is a 2-out hit. Falmouth being down by 4 runs. And the pitch. That is called a ball. Herbert Eisner now up. And the pitch. Swinging and missed that off-speed pitch. Eisner on the day 0 for 2. No action going on in the Commodores bullpen, but action going on in the Harbor Hawks bullpen. And going at first. Throws on to second, and he is out. A great throw by Pedro Pages to be able to get the 3rd out of the inning. The Harbor Hawks will be up, though, in the bottom of the 8th. We'll be right back here on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network.
Magic Works Media copyright. Magic Works Media copyright.
You're listening to the Hyannis Harbor Hawks on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network. Now back to today's voices of the Hawks, Lyle Goldstein and Robert Marcello.
Pedro Pages to lead things off in the bottom of the 8th inning. The Harbor Hawks are up 9-5. And hopefully for the last time being up today is the Harbor Hawks, as they have a 4-run lead.
Well, the numbers favor them in this situation. There's no doubt about it. Coming into today, they're 13-0 when leading after 5, 14-0 when leading after 7. So they've played from behind and many times unsuccessfully this season, but when they get out to a lead, pretty common that the bullpen will slam the door.
First pitch, 2 Pages is called outside for a ball. And the next pitch, swing and a miss by Pedro Pages at that outside fastball. Miller still on the mound for the Falmouth Commodores, as there's no action going on in their bullpen. They're going to let Miller finish this thing out. That next off-speed pitch, outside, Pedro Pages chasing for strike 2. Pages batting .255 on the season. He has 3 home runs and 14 RBIs, 25 for 98 on the season. And that next pitch is way outside. Pedro Pages doesn't even think about swinging at that one. And the pitch, sent foul, just to the left of us. Pedro Pages trying to fight off a 2-strike count. And the pitch. That is a ground ball to the second baseman, Cantrell. He'll throw it on to first. For the first down, the bottom of the 8th. Seth Gray now up, the Wright State product. He tried out first base, but now is back at his usual position at third. And the first off-speed pitch in for a strike inside. The light's fully bright here at McKeon Park. That next pitch is in low. It is 9-5, 1 out in the bottom of the 8th. Next pitch in the same spot, call the strike. Seth Gray bends his knees, doesn't like that one. And after early in this game, Chad Gassman hasn't said much else to the umpires as he's let it go. Part of the reason why that is because the Harbor Hawks are winning. That pitch is in the dirt outside. 1 out on the bottom of the 8th, 9-5, Hyannis. Seth Gray is up, facing Mitch Miller. And the pitch, strike 3 called there. Seth Gray frozen on that pitch. for the second out in the bottom of the 8th.
And a borderline strike there from the left-hander in Miller. A good fastball right on the black in the outer half of the zone. Seth watched it go by and strikes out for the first time tonight.
Todd Law now up the DH for the Harbor Hawks this evening. Todd Law's parents were here last week. Did leave, though, right before the All-Star game. That first pitch is called outside for a ball, and as the pitcher threw the ball, his hat fell off. Duffy throwing some heat.
Yeah, absolutely. He's had a good fastball tonight. Mixing his stuff well, kept the Harbor Hawks off balance.
That next pitch is outside for ball.
Well, the Harbor Hawks today, 12 hits, and every single guy in the original starting lineup has a hit to their name. So it's safe to say a good night offensively for the Hawks.
It's pretty important. That next pitch grounded right back to the pitcher. He'll just toss it on to first. And after 8 innings, the Harbor Hawks still lead 9-5. Falmouth will be up in the top of the 9th, trying to come back. We will be right back here on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network.
Magic Works Media copyright. Magic Works Media copyright. Magic Works Media copyright.
You're listening to the Hyannis Harbor Hawks on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network. Now back to today's voice of the Hawks, Rob Marcello.
It is Thomas time here from McKeon Park to start the top of the 9th inning.
Dylan Thomas already with 8 saves on the summer. That's a league high and a team high. And for the right-hander out of Hawaii, put himself together with a nice summer. 18 and a third innings pitched, 0.98 ERA, 27 punch-outs to 3 walks.
Herbert Iser to lead things off in the top of the 9th. And the pitch. Swing and a miss, that off-speed pitch from Dylan Thomas. One throw right past you with hard stuff. He pulls around the off-speed pitch. That next pitch, swing and a miss, though, with a fastball. Doesn't use it very much. Uses that sweeping backdoor slider, very similar to what Chris Sale would throw. And the pitch. That is a ground ball to the third baseman in Seth Gray. He has to move over. He throws it on to first. Brady Lindsley able to catch it for the first out in the top of the 9th inning. A tough play for Seth Gray, but moves his body towards first base, being able to get it in time.
He fields it on the backhand in the hole at third, a little past the bag, but he's got such a strong throw, a perfect dart across the diamond for out number 1.
Hayden Cantrell now up 1 out in the top of the 9th inning. Dylan Thomas got drafted this year, but elected to stay. Still go back to Hawaii. That first pitch, call the strike, swing and a miss. By the 9th man in the order for the Commodores. They are down by 4 runs, as it is 9-5. Harborhawks have 12 hits to the Commodores 9. And the 1-1 pitch from Thomas. Fouled off right off Pedro Pages' catcher's gear, but he's all right. Throws back to Dylan Thomas as the ball boy for the Harborhawks, able to go on and get it. No action in the Commodores bullpen. You're trying to ride this thing out, see if they're going to be able to tie the game. Just try to get somebody on base. That next pitch is high outside for a ball.
Well, the pinch hitter and Edward Julian struggling this summer for Falmouth. 9 hits and 60 attempts, 8 RBIs, but an average of just 150.
And the next pitch in for a ball. You said Julian is up to bat for Cantrell. Julian, though, in the season batting 150. And the pitch. That is fouled off. As there is action going on in the Harborhawks bullpen. Still 1 out, though, in the top of the 9th. And the pitch. Grounds it off once again and lands right near the manager of the Falmouth Commodores, but the netting is protecting him, though. Count at full 3-2. 1 on the top of the 9th. 9-5 Harborhawks. And the 3-2 pitch. Sends it foul again. Right over where a couple pitchers warming up for the Harborhawks. Still 1 out, bases empty. Full count at 3-2. And the 3-2 pitch. That is called a ball. They're in a 1 out walk for Julian. And now on the top of the order is Matt Wallner.
Well, you certainly don't see that too often out of Dylan Thomas. For a guy who has just 1 walk to his name on the summer coming into today.
And the top of the order now up. That first breaking ball pitch in the dirt, but Wallner swinging at it. Already has 3 strikeouts on the day. He's batting .235 on the season. And the pitch. That is outside for a ball. Over at first is Julian, not even being covered. Rivera moving out, though, in right field, though. Try to get himself in good position. The next pitch is fouled off right near the Falmouth Commodores bench, but they do have a fence protecting them from the dugout. And the pitch. Sends a laser past Brady Lindsley, but unable to get it. There will now be runners at the corners with 1 out. That ball will get past, and that will score a run. It is now 9-6. Things starting to get a little interesting here in McKeon Park as an errant throw by Eric Rivera gets past Seth Gray.
Yeah, a little interesting that he came up throwing with that one, considering that the runner in Julian taking off for third was about halfway there at the point of release. He made a strong throw to Seth Gray, but it got a little wide and over his head as Julian scored easily on the pass throw past the third baseman. But that's usually one you should probably just eat and hit the cutoff man on, especially with a 4-run lead when you're trying to just get 2 more outs and lock up a win.
Langworthy now up 2 for 4 on the day. He's batting 176 on the season. And the first pitch from Thomas. Swing and a miss at that fastball. Quickly up in the count, 0-1 is Thomas. No RBI, though, for Wallner. He will be awarded the hit, though. The next pitch, inside low for a fastball, in for a strike. 1 out, man at second. It is 9-6. Harbor Hawks. And the pitch. In low for a ball. Counts now at 1-2. Thomas trying to get the second out of the inning and trying to get out of third. Trying to get the Harbor Hawks a win, trying to go up 3 points in the Wareham Gateman as they lost earlier today. That is in for strike 3. And 1 out away here. Now up Kyle Stowers.
Well, a big out for Dylan Thomas, striking out Langworthy. Second time tonight he's punched out, but the Florida Gator already with 2 hits today, including a home run. But things only get tougher for Thomas here. Hottest hitter on the Cape over the last 2 weeks in Kyle Stowers.
After the final out here on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network, catch Chris Lucius. He'll be anchoring the post-game show. He'll be able to talk to you about tonight's game and other scores around the league. As that first pitch into Stowers was called the ball. 2 outs in the top of the 9th. 9-6. Harbor Hawks, that next pitch is swinging a miss. That off-speed outside pitch. A lot of guys fall for that pitch when they face Dylan Thomas. Thomas has a below 1 ERA at .98. And the next, in for a strike. There and 1 strike away for notching up a win at home. And time is called just before the pitch. No one covering the man over at second. And the 0 pitch. Sends one into the gap. There, now runner will come home. It is now 9-7. Here in that run will come on. And the Falmouth Commodores bench starting to believe a little bit as Thomas has struggled here in the top of the 9th.
Well, you can only keep Kyle Stowers quiet for so long. After the double in the first, he's been retired 3 straight times and comes up with that RBI single right there, punching one back up the middle, past the backhand of Braden Como. And things certainly starting to get interesting here. Dylan Thomas, this is easily the most he struggled this summer, and that speaks volumes to just how dominant he's been over the course of this 2018 season for the Harbor Hawks. But things are definitely shaping up to be interesting here. Facing Davis Sims, the former Murray State product, now transferring to Western Kentucky, and he's been red hot as of late. Davis Sims, 324 in his last 10 games, 316 in his last 5, and 2 long balls in the last 5 games as well.
Definitely has been impressive. The pitcher coach for the Harbor Hawks, Ray Corn, out to talk to Thomas. It's been a long one here this evening, approaching 3 hours of play. And now the Hawaii 5-0 music will come on. Because normally it comes on when he's coming out to pitch, but the Christmas music about Hawaii is Dylan Thomas goes to University of Hawaii. Pages goes back to home plate with the home plate umpire getting ready for this at bat to start. One swing of the bat here could tie this game at 9-9 if Dylan Thomas is not careful. As there is a man over at first, not being covered by Brady Lindsley. And the pitch. In for a strike. Outside low. From Dylan Thomas. The infield for the Harbor Hawks playing at double play depth. And the pitch. That is sent high in the air and will be sent foul. Count quickly down 0-2. One strike away for Dylan Thomas, trying to get out of this one. And the pitch. That is outside for a ball. Count now at 1-2. 9-7 here from McKeon Park. 2 outs on top of the ninth. And the 1-2 pitch. That is in for a strike 3. Got him looking, and the Harbor Hawks being able to notch a win at home here in Lisle. A shaky performance from Dylan Thomas, being able to get it done in the ninth, though.
Yeah, he finds a way to get it done for sure. They come into that game down 4 runs, or into that inning, we should say, and Dylan Thomas allows multiple runs in an inning for the first time in his 2018 summer. But all that matters is he slammed the door and locked down the win as the Harbor Hawks now move to a 3-point lead in first place in the Western Division.
They sure do. And after a quick break, Chris Lucy will have the post-game show here on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network.
Magic Works Media copyright. Magic Works Media copyright. Magic Works Media copyright.
Back at it here on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network alongside Robert Marcello. I am Chris Lucy, and your hometown Harbor Hawks taking the win tonight. Their second win of the season in 6 games. The 6-game series between these two ball clubs now concluded on the season, and the Harbor Hawks coming out with a loss in the series, but a big symbolic win here for reasons we'll go into later on the post-game coverage. Again, 9-7 your score. I'm Chris Lucy. He's Robert Marcello. And Rob, Hyannis really scored in bunches here. Outside of 1 run in the 6th inning, the only places where Hyannis scored was in the bottom of the 1st and then in the bottom of the 5th. Now, you came on for your play-by-play call in the bottom of the 5th, so lucky you getting to capture that rally, but you also had a bird's eye view and had your head in the game for sure when Hyannis got things cranking and got out to the lead that eventually won them the game. What was working well for Hyannis in that bottom of the 5th inning when things started rolling?
I think it was just timely hitting for the Harbor Hawks. Anytime they have timely hitting, they're a very good club.
Well, the Harbor Hawks had to play from behind for a good amount of this ball game. They went into the bottom of the 5th inning, trailing 5-4, and didn't throw a scoreless frame until that top of the 5th inning. Brett Scholes coming in and finally was able to settle things down for the Harbor Hawks. He had a very good performance for Hyannis. We'll talk about Brett and his effort a little bit later, but first we have to get down to Dylan Thomas in the 9th inning. A bit of a shaky performance for him. He let up an unearned run in the All-Star game, and here out on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks digital network tonight, it was a bit of a rocky one for him as well. He lets up multiple earned runs in the top of the 9th inning. His first inning on the Cape League, All-Star game or not All-Star game, where he's let up multiple runs in an inning. What was it about him tonight that had the Commodores jumping on him?
I think he just made a couple of mistakes, and really so far this season, the mistakes he have been made have been really unnoticed because no one's really hit him, and tonight he made a couple mistakes, and Falmouth made him pay for it.
Well, Falmouth getting the better of Thomas at times, but still the Hawaii product not coming on to his classic Hawaii 5-0 theme song, rather Mele Kaliki Maka here on Hyannis Harbor Hawks Christmas in July. They're going for the Christmas thing. Maybe the different theme song throwing him off a little bit. Baseball is a superstitious game, but regardless, Thomas able to hold it down to lock down a 9-7 win for Hyannis. And of course, Robert, going into the playoffs, Hyannis maintains first place. In fact, they grow their lead in first place from a 1-point lead to now a 3-point lead over the Wareham Gatemen, as Wareham stays at 41 points with the loss to YD today. And Hyannis jumps out to 44 points with the win here, advancing to 21-13-2 before a matchup tomorrow against the last place Bourne Braves, who have lost 9 of their last 10 games. Robert, this is a team last season that made it all the way to the Cape Cod League Finals, and they returned a good amount of ball players as well, but the season has just completely fallen off the rails for them. What's the key for Hyannis going in, knowing that they're going against a team that really is hurting pride-wise and also has a couple guys who are banged up?
Well, you definitely can't focus on the record. They're still a very good ball club. You know, at the start of the season, they started off really well, and now they're hitting a rough patch. They're going to be a desperate club tomorrow, so the Harbor Hawks are going to be ready to go.
Well, Robert, I'll let you get ready for Hawk Talk right now. Thank you so much for joining me on the post-game show. Now he'll head down to the field, getting ready for the post-game video show, Hawk Talk, which you can catch on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks YouTube page. Be sure to give us a subscribe there, and you'll be able to get notifications every time Hawk Talk is posted, and also every time our broadcasts go live here on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks digital network. Again, I'm Chris Lucy, your post-game coverage host here. Hyannis winners 9-7 over the Commodores, only their second win of the season against this Falmouth ball club that really had the Harbor Hawks number all campaign long, and definitely all of 2017, as the Harbor Hawks didn't win a single game against the Commodores last season, a 6-0 sweep in 2017. But Hyannis able to take one last win against Falmouth before going into the playoffs, where Hyannis in first place is very likely right now to run into the Katua Kettleers, another ball club that took a 4-2 series win over Hyannis this season. That is, if Hyannis is able to maintain first, and Katuitt fourth place, as Falmouth and Katuitt are about 4 points separated. And right now, in game number 36 of the season for these two ball clubs, and for the Commodores and Kettleers as well, there's plenty of season left, as now there'll be about a little less than 10 games before the season ends tomorrow, as Hyannis heads out to Doran Park for one last rendezvous in Doran against the Bourne Braves. 2 more games remaining between those two ball clubs on the season. Hyannis with a stellar 4-0 mark against Bourne, as the Harbor Hawks look to try and build on their Western Division lead, now 44-41 over the Wareham Gatemen. A 9-7 win for Hyannis tonight, and now we'll take a quick look around the Cape before we wrap up post-game coverage here on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks digital network. Out at Spillane Field, or out in Hartford, the Wareham Gatemen actually traveling out to play in the Yard Goats Stadium in a bit of a promotion there. But Yarmouth Dennis getting the better of them 5-0. Wareham staying in second place in the West, and Hyannis expanding their Western Division lead to now 3 points, as we mentioned. Over at Lowell Park, the Katua Kettleers staying home for this one, and handing the Bourne Braves a 4-3 loss. Now Bourne winners of only one game out of their last 10. It has just been an arduous season for the ball club out in Bourne that won this Western Division last season. Over at White House Field, going to the Eastern Division now, the Orleans Firebirds lead 7-5 over the Harwich Mariners going into the top of the 7th inning right now. Orleans just holding on for dear life to the final playoff spot in the Eastern Division as things stand right now. Orleans with 25 points, only 2 points ahead of 5th place Brewster, who has a 4-1 lead over Chatham going into the top of the 5th inning over at Veterans Field. A 7 o'clock start there. That game taking a good long while out in Chatham, Massachusetts. Brewster, again, 23 points, fighting to come back and clinch possibly a playoff berth and avoid the curse of the champion, as it was alluded to in the World Cup this year. All the past World Cup winners over the last 2 tournaments at the very least have failed to make it out of knockout stages at the World Cup after they win. And in this case, the Brewster Whitecaps might go from first to worst in the Eastern Division after taking the Cape Cod League Championship last year. They're in danger of missing the playoffs right now. That'll be all for our post-game coverage here on the Hyannis Harborhawks Digital Network. Thank you so much for joining me. I'm Chris Lucy. Again, one last time, the final score here from Hyannis. I'll give you the pictures of record as well. 9-7, Harborhawks win. Brett Schultz advances to 2-2 on the season. The Harborhawks right-hander taking the win. Ian Cook falls to 1-2. The righty for the Commodores taking the loss. No save situation for Dylan Thomas, although he does nail this one down for Hyannis. And you can catch the Harborhawks tomorrow on the Hyannis Harborhawks Digital Network. We'll be out in Bourne for a 6 o'clock first pitch. Don't miss that one for sure. Hyannis looking to turn around from a 2-game losing streak, maybe get a 2-game win streak going. Find out if that can happen tomorrow. Again, signing off on behalf of the entire broadcast team, field reporter Danny Terzer, play-by-play men Lyle Goldstein and Robert Marcello, as well as podcaster Harrison Myers, who's helping out with Hawk Talk tonight. I'm Chris Lucy. Again, a big thank you from the Hyannis Harborhawks Digital Network and a big win for the Harborhawks. 9-7 the score from McKeon Park. Have a great night, everybody, and thank you so much for tuning into our broadcast.